and bring glory to the Cardinal name. The game of football may not seem like one for the birds, but these Cardinals are a different breed. Strong, quick, smart, and all brought together by one. After what turned into a rough season for the Cardinals last year, a new coach and a fresh season have spirits as high as the geyser in Soda Springs. The Red and Black take the field this year under Cliff Garbett as he looks to build his legacy and bring glory to the Cardinal name. The game of football may not seem like one for the birds, but these Cardinals are a different breed. Strong, quick, smart, and all brought together by one goal: victory. Let's find out together what can happen when birds of a feather flock together on the gridiron. Cardinal football is right here and right now on KBRV 800 The Bear and streaming live online at mylocalradio.com. Soda Springs football is brought to you live by these local sponsors:
Sanders Furniture, Reed's Plumbing and Heating, Silver Star Communications, Monsanto, and Old West Media.
Kickoff is just about 30 minutes away, so let's head out to the field where Caleb Burgraff will get you primed and ready for kickoff on your home for every play of Cardinal football. AM 800 KBRV, The Bear.
And welcome, football fans, to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals on a dreary Friday night, but it shouldn't stay that way for long as we have high school football coming your way in just about a half hour on KBRV 800 The Bear, as the Soda Springs Cardinals are going to be taking on the Malad Dragons. The JV game on the field right now is just starting to wrap up as they are in the second quarter of a two-quarter game with 1:03 to go. Soda Springs up 14-12, and they are in good position right now, although the Malad Dragons, as I speak, get a touchdown over on the far side of the field on a little flag route to the far side as they now jump ahead 18-14. But that game will be wrapping up, as I said, in about the next minute. We'll keep you updated on what that score is. We have plenty to come on our pregame show here, including interviews with both head coaches as we talked with head coach Cliff Garbett from the Soda Springs Cardinals and Kota Cheetah of the Malad Dragons earlier today. And also, we are going to be bringing you our Where Are They Now interview. That's actually coming up on the other side of this break as Alan Erickson talked about his time at Soda Springs, what he did after Soda Springs, and what he enjoys about coaching at the track team here at Soda Springs High School. That's all coming up on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Here's a look at your Lalaton's food specials for the week of October 1st through the 7th. Catch K-Slot Fever. Grab select varieties of canned vegetables, 24 in a case for $12. Canned tuna fish, 48 cans for $28.32, or a case of 12 cans of premium chunk white chicken for just $11.89. Pasta sauces come in cases of 12 for $12, 20 for $20, or 24 for $24. That's a look at your Lalaton's food specials in Soda Springs.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
How'd I do?
You'll get better.
Tim can't wait to be a real driver. But for now, he's king of the online track thanks to Silver Star Communications high-speed internet. Reliable, consistent speeds give him the edge against players anywhere, even the other end of the couch.
Whoa.
You'll get better.
Visit silverstar.com to learn more.
Would your business survive a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals on KBRV 800 The Bear. Here at Archer Field in Soda Springs, Idaho, the JV game going on down below us right now. 20-14 is the score. The Malad Dragons are on top of the Soda Springs Cardinals down there. But let's keep moving on with our pregame show as we had a chance to sit down and talk with Alan Erickson, who was part of the class of 1970 from the Soda Springs Cardinal. He was our focus on where are they now. We had a good interview and a good sit-down chat earlier this week, and he told us kind of a little bit about his past, what Soda Springs was like, and how things have developed since he's been here.
Caleb Burgraff joined with our Where Are They Now interview today, and it's from the class of 1970 with Alan Erickson. And Alan, the first thing I have to say is thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
It's not a problem. I'm glad to come in and share some time with you and share some of my experiences that I had through high school and the things that I experience now as a coach.
Class of 1970, 45 years ago almost at this point in time. First thing, are you getting ready for the 50-year reunion? Is there going to be a 50-year reunion?
I hope there will be. We were supposed to have a 45-year one here this last summer, but that didn't happen, so maybe we can get together with some of my classmates and make that happen for 50-year ones.
What was Soda Springs like when you were growing up? I mean, the 1970s compared to 2000s, it's got to be a little bit of a difference. What was the town and the community like?
It was way different back then. Now, we have all the truck traffic that goes through Soda. Back in 1970, that was not the case, so it was a pretty quiet place. Great place to grow up. As a kid, we spent summers playing baseball, like Sandlot, the movie Sandlot. That was a lot like it was here. I can remember playing baseball almost every day in the summertime. And as the football season come around, you'd play football. You could get your bike and you could ride up to Ledge Creek and fish all day. And your mom wasn't concerned with you being gone all day because, Soda was a small community, much like it is now, but you didn't have the traffic going through here that we have now. You could get up in the morning, get on your bike, take your fishing pole and be gone all day, and your mom would never really worry as long as you was home for dinner. It was a fun place to grow up. We spent lots of times we'd have our parents take us out by the Bear River going up towards 8 Mile, and we'd just camp out overnight, and then they'd come and get us the next day. It was a great place. It's still a great place to grow up. That's why I really wanted to come back and raise my family here, because I just thought it was a great community.
When you look at back in your high school days, you also played football and did a little bit of track when you were there. What got you interested in those sports? And I know you're still coaching track, so was that the sport that really caught your eye when you were playing sports?
Like I said, when we were growing up, we played baseball all summer long, and whatever sport was in season, that's what you would go and do. And, we had Little League basketball. We didn't have football. I didn't get to participate in football until I got in high school. But all the kids that I grew up were all jocks. They all liked to play, so you was always playing some kind of sport. Even as a young kid, we would go get the bamboo poles that they would roll carpet on, and that's where my pole vaulting career started. I was in the backyard vaulting on bamboo poles and digging holes in my dad's yard, so we'd have a plant box and taking an old mattress out to jump on, and you'd jump on that bamboo pole until the thing was so splintered up you couldn't do it anymore. But that's kind of where my career in pole vaulting started. But I just love all sports. I was just a sports guy. I was dreamed, you watch on TV. The pole vaulter at that time that caught my interest was a pole vaulter at Southern Cal. His name was Bob Seagram, and I just thought that was such a cool sport that's where it caught my eye there. And, as far as track goes, I was good at it because I was a pretty fast kid and, got to go to state, got to experience some state championships.
After high school, you went on your mission, or you went to college for a year, and then you went on your mission over to the East Coast. What was it like for a small kid in the West to move out and do a mission over in the big city in New York and around that area?
Probably the best word I could describe that, it was just absolutely terrifying. Here I was when I got on that plane in Salt Lake City and started flying. We flew over Chicago, and the pilot pointed down to that big city, Chicago, and I'd never seen so many buildings in one place. I'd been to Los Angeles, family had gone to Disneyland, so I'd been there, but you drive into there and it's just different when you fly into these places. When we flew into New York City, and then they picked us up and drove us to where the mission home, and the mission home was on Fifth Avenue in New York City, right across from Central Park, and it was just, I'd never seen so many people in my entire life in one place. They had as many people living in one apartment building as we had in the whole town of Soda Springs. And then they took us, first few days that they were there, they took us down to Wall Street. If you're familiar with that area in Manhattan, they block off the traffic during the day because there's so many people down in that Wall Street district, doing business down there. At noontime, it's just wall-to-wall people. The streets are just clear full of people. It was just terrifying for a young kid, from a small community in Idaho to be in a place like that. Of course, I got used to it after a while and kind of got accustomed to what was going on there. But I can remember people saying, they'd ask me where I was from, and I'd say Idaho, and they'd ask me, what state's that in? I would almost recommend that you send your kid on a mission, because I felt like that the education that I got just being out in the world was probably worth more than any 2 years that I could have spent in college. I learned a great deal out there, learned about life.
That was Alan Erickson, the pole vaulting coach for the Soda Springs Cardinals right now, also class of 1970. He's our feature on Where Are They Now? We have the rest of the interview with him coming up on the other side of this break. Here at the field, the Soda Springs Cardinals JV team is in a timeout break, down 20-14 to the Malad Dragons. But the ball is on the 2-yard line, sitting just outside the goal line, and the Cardinals look like they might be able to punch it in with 8 seconds left, so things are coming down to the wire between the Malad Dragons and the Soda Springs Cardinals here in the JV football game. So we'll keep it right here while this game finalizes and comes to a close, just so you guys can know exactly what happens as it happens with the JVers on the Soda Springs Cardinals football team. As this is the next year and the next group that's going to be coming up the line for Soda Springs. You want to be able to know what you're talking about when they are coming up in the years. And you want to be able to support them as well, just like you do for the varsity kids. So the teams come back out onto the field. Soda, again, at the 2-yard line, down by 6. With 8 seconds left to go in the game, they're going to come out right under center and looking to try and run. This one is Logan Mumford. Straight up the gut they go, and it looks like he's in. It's a touchdown, and with 5.2 seconds left, Soda Springs has at least tied the game up, and they're going to go for 2 here to possibly try and take the lead in the last quarter of a 2-quarter affair between them and the Malad Dragons here on this Friday afternoon. The varsity game again is to follow, but right now we're just going to keep it right here with the Cardinals taking on the Dragons on the JV squad. So the Cardinals are just going to go for the extra point. They're not going to try and go for 2. Doing the kicking here is going to be Jared Johnson, and holding the ball is Brock Thompson. Snap is good. Kick is no good. And it remains tied 20-20. And on the sidelines, the head coach of the JV team is he's not happy. He is frustrated that he didn't get a roughing the kicker call on that one. But as I said, the score remains at 20-20, and the varsity team will have to stand on the sidelines a little bit longer in order to come back out here. But again, the Cardinals tie things up here late going in the JV match. Thanks again for everybody that is listening in right now on KBRV 800 The Bear. And also for those few people that are tuned in on our live video stream, I encourage you to get onto our live video stream right now as, again, the Cardinals taking on the Malad Dragons on the JV side of the football field, and the Cardinals just tied the game up. We'll have the varsity match coming up. Still, we'll have the continuation of our interview as well with Alan Erickson, as the class of 1970 graduate is coming up. Talked about his trip over to New York on his mission. And we're just getting ready to come back and talk a little bit more about why he came back to Soda Springs after that mission. He lived down in Arizona for 14 years, and what brought him back to this place and what got him into coaching as well. So that's all coming up on that interview. For those of you who were tuning into that one and listening into that, we'll have that after the continuation and completion of the JV game here at the home of the Cardinals. And again, the varsity match was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. Might be a little bit delayed with the time moving to 6:44 right now, and the JV game just wrapping up. So they might add a little bit of extra time onto the clock before the Dragons and the Cardinals take to the field for their football game on the varsity side. Soda set to kick the ball off here to the Malad Dragons, and to do the kicking is Sebastian Husted, as he is going to come running up to the ball, squibs one down the field. It's going to be picked up and dropped on at the 35-yard line. Falling on top of the football is Jake Hayter, and that's where Malad's going to take over with 4 seconds left to go on the clock, and the game tied. And again, this was a 2-quarter varsity game, JV game, so I'm not sure if they're going to do overtime rules are not in this matchup. And again, that's why we're holding on to the ball here, or holding on to the call here before we continue on with our pregame show. Cardinals defense takes the field. Good time to get to know some of the players on the defensive side. On the line, Jed Crane is a freshman. He takes over that nose guard position on the Cardinals line. And on the near side, you have Case Griffiths and Carson Williams, two juniors out there on the JV team. At the line, Hayden Dane drops back to pass. He's going to throw in over the middle of the field. It's going to be completed, then dropped. And that is how the second quarter of this two-quarter affair ends. And again, not sure if they're going to go to overtime rules or if they're just going to wrap up the field and wrap up the game. And it appears that they are just going to wrap things up with this one as a tie, I believe. Well, now the coach is talking things over. Wanted to make sure they get the call right. Wanted to make sure that the decision is what both teams want. So they are going to go into the overtime rules, it appears. And that will extend this game out a little bit longer, as you're going to have each team lining up at, I believe, the 10-yard line is where they start in high school, with 4 downs to try and get into the end zone or try and kick a field goal. And it's going to come down between these two teams to decide who is going to win the game. The defenses have to stand strong, and always the coin toss on these overtimes is extremely, extremely important for the two sides. But again, the Dragons and the Cardinals are having to go into overtime here, 20-20, all knotted up after the Cardinals decided to try an extra point for the first time and ended up not being able to get that one to go through the uprights, as a good rush by the Malad Dragons was able to force the kicker to think other thoughts and getting it through, and other thoughts about just kicking good contact onto the ball, which you can't blame him, as he had 3 or 4 people into his face, and he ended up missing that one wide to the left. And now the Cardinals will be out at midfield as the captains are discussing over the coin toss, and we'll find out. Looks like Soda Springs is going to defend the right end zone, which means Malad most likely will start out on the defensive end of the football. So Soda is going to be moving towards the right side of the field from our perch up above the field. And Malad is going to be defending that side first. Soda trots back to their huddle. Malad stands on the near side. Again, the defensive starters on the field for Malad and the Dragons. It's been a very competitive team between the two JV squads. I've been standing up here watching the game for the most of it, and it's been a lot of running, which I think is something you could expect coming into this game just because of the way the weather's been. It is cooperating right now. The rain has dried up for the time being. It was raining for a good 2 or 3 hours straight for a while before it stopped about 15-20 minutes ago. And right now, again, the weather is absolutely pristine for what you could expect for today, with overcast skies, the clouds setting themselves against the mountains off to the south, with a lower level that is just a couple hundred feet above the ground here at Archer Field in Soda Springs. Cardinals come back out onto the field as, again, the offense will take over starting at the 10-yard line. And it is going to be Peyton Lish to take the snap at the 15-yard line in that pistol formation. Takes the snap, looks over to the end zone, now flips a screen pass out over to the left, taking the ball and sprinting through 2 tackles before finally being taken down at the 3-yard line is Logan Mumford, as the freshman running back got some room. That's very similar to the play that the Cardinals used to get into the 1-yard line to score the touchdown. And right now, that puts them into good field position with 2nd down and about 4.5 yards to go. Ball is on the Dragon side of the 5-yard line. For the Dragon, a big defensive line right up front, and it can definitely create some holes. We've seen them do that, so that's one of the reasons why the Cardinals go into the outside at this point. As Lish again goes into the shotgun, sends a man into motion. Now takes the snap, hands the ball off. It's once again going to be Mumford rushing up to the left side, comes to the goal line, reaches it out. They're going to say he's down at the half-yard line, much to the chagrin of the coaching staff for the Cardinals and to the fans here at Archer Field. But the Cardinals, with the success they've been able to have so far this year in short yardage positions, with 2 downs to try and punch it in. You got to think a touchdown is upcoming for Soda on this play. Half a yard to go. Under center is Mumford as he takes a snap. Quick sneak up the gut. They're going to push him across and into the end zone, and Soda Springs takes a 26-20 lead. And after missing the extra point last time, it's going to be an interesting decision whether they go for 2 here and try and put a nail in the coffin of Malad, or they try and just do the extra point. So they have to come out onto the field again, up 26-20 here in overtime. This is bonus coverage on KBR V800 The Bear with the JV team still out on the field. The varsity standing on the far sideline, awaiting their chance to get into the game. JV's going to go for 2 after scoring the touchdown in their first possession of overtime. It's Lish in the pistol, with Mumford standing behind him, 2 wide receivers to each side. Handoff goes to Lish, looks to pass, sleds out to the left side, and it goes off of the hands of Thomas Nielsen. The freshman's made a couple of big catches so far in the game today, but couldn't hold on to that one, and the score remains 26-20, and the Malad Dragons are going to take over on the offensive end, and if they can get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, then they are going to walk away with a win, but they have to get the touchdown to start things off, and they start at the 10-yard line once again. So the Cardinals, with the defense trotting out onto the field, the JV squad getting some good moments here of playing time, as moments like this are only something that can help a team in their growth as the season continues on. And I think that's exactly why the coaches decided to go into the overtime session here, because they had the option not to do so. And the Cardinals will come out on the defensive side. Malad spreads out into their shotgun. 1 wide receiver is flanking the quarterback in Hayden Dane. He'll take the snap, drops back, now flips one out to the far side. A little backdoor pass, and it's broken up by a pair of Cardinals over in the left corner of the end zone. One of them coming up with the block looked to be Braxton Butler, the sophomore. And excuse me, it was Connor Torman, who was also over there, the freshman defensive end. So great job by the Cardinals in order to close that one off and break up the pass. 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Malad Dragons this time, is, again, it's going to be Dane in the shotgun, the younger Dane on the team, as Hayden, only a freshman, takes a snap, throws this ball into the end zone, picked off by the Cardinals. A walk-off interception. Stepping up is Thomas Nielsen after dropping the pass on the left side of the end zone. He comes back and pulls down the interception, and the Soda Springs JV Cardinals come away with a win over the Malad Dragons and continue what's been a fairly good season for the JV team with wins on the season. I think this is their 3rd win on the year, as they beat American Falls. They also opened up the season with a victory against West Jefferson, and now a win here against the Malad Dragons. They moved to 3-2 on the year, so the JV team showing a lot of promise this season. The varsity team hoping they can follow on the heels of that. We'll start our pregame show over as soon as we come back here on KBR V800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Here's a look at your Lalaton's food specials for the week of October 1st through the 7th. Catch K-Slot Fever. Grab select varieties of canned vegetables, 24 in a case for $12. Canned tuna fish, 48 cans for $28.32, or a case of 12 cans of premium chunk white chicken for just $11.89. Pasta sauces come in cases of 12 for $12, 20 for $20, or 24 for $24. That's a look at your Lalaton's food specials in Soda Springs.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
How'd I do?
You'll get better.
Tim can't wait to be a real driver. But for now, he's king of the online track thanks to Silver Star Communications high-speed internet. Reliable, consistent speeds give him the edge against players anywhere, even the other end of the couch.
Whoa.
You'll get better.
Visit silverstar.com to learn more.
Would your business survive a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals, KBRV 800 The Bear, as the Soda Springs Cardinals coming away with a victory in the JV game, 26-20 in overtime over the Mlad Dragons. That means it's time for us to jump into our pregame show, as right now we have about 28 minutes until the start of tonight's matchup between the Varsity Cardinals and the Varsity Dragons here at Archer Field. And with that, we'll jump right into our pregame show. When we had left, we had been sitting down and chatting with a, well, not a legend, but a old and a illustrious member of the Soda Springs Cardinals, as we had Alan Erickson joining us on the show. He's also currently the pole vaulting coach at the school, and he was able to talk with us a little bit about what he has been able to do while at Soda Springs. So we'll jump right back into that interview with the start of it for those of you who are just now tuning in, with the varsity game 30 minutes away on KBRV 800 The Bear, with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Caleb Burgraff joined with our Where Are They Now interview today, and it's from the class of 1970 with Alan Erickson. And Alan, the first thing I have to say is thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
You know, it's not a problem. I'm glad to come in and share some time with you and share some of my experiences that I had through high school and the things that I experience now as a coach.
Class of 1970, 45 years ago almost at this point in time. First thing, are you getting ready for the 50-year reunion? Is there going to be a 50-year reunion?
I hope there will be. We were supposed to have a 45-year one here this last summer, but that didn't happen, so maybe we can get together with some of my classmates and make that happen for 50-year ones.
What was Soda Springs like when you were growing up? I mean, the 1970s compared to 2000s, it's got to be a little bit of a difference. What was the town and the community like?
It was way different back then. Now, you know, we have all the truck traffic that goes through Soda. Back in 1970, that was not the case, you know, so it was a pretty quiet place. Great place to grow up. As a kid, we spent summers playing baseball, like Sandlot, the movie Sandlot. That was a lot like it was here. I can remember playing baseball almost every day in the summertime. And as the football season come around, you'd play football. You could get your bike and you could ride up to Ledge Creek and fish all day. And your mom wasn't concerned with you being gone all day because, you know, Soda was a small community, much like it is now, but you didn't have the traffic going through here that we have now. You could get up in the morning, get on your bike, take your fishing pole and be gone all day, and your mom would never really worry as long as you was home for dinner. It was a fun place to grow up. You know, we spent lots of times, we'd have our parents take us out by the Bear River going up towards 8 Mile, and we'd just camp out overnight, and then they'd come and get us the next day. You know, it was a great place. It's still a great place to grow up. That's why I really wanted to come back and raise my family here, because I just thought it was a great community.
When you look at back in your high school days, you also played football and did a little bit of track when you were there. What got you interested in those sports? And I know you're still coaching track, so was that the sport that really caught your eye when you were playing sports?
Like I said, when we were growing up, we played baseball all summer long, and whatever sport was in season, that's what you would go and do. And, you know, we had Little League basketball. We didn't have football. I didn't get to participate in football until I got in high school. But all the kids that I grew up were all jocks. You know, they all liked to play, you know, so you was always playing some kind of sport. Even as a young kid, we would go get the bamboo poles that they would roll carpet on, and that's where my pole vaulting career started. I was in the backyard vaulting on bamboo poles and digging holes in my dad's yard, so we'd have a plant box and taking an old mattress out to jump on, and you'd jump on that bamboo pole until the thing was so splintered up you couldn't do it anymore. But that's kind of where my career in pole vaulting started. But I just love all sports. I was just a sports guy. You know, I was dreamed, you know, you watch on TV. The pole vaulter at that time that caught my interest was a pole vaulter at Southern Cal. His name was Bob Seagram, you know, and I just thought that was such a cool sport that's where it caught my eye there. And, you know, as far as track goes, I was good at it because I was a pretty fast kid and, you know, got to go to state, got to experience some state championships.
After high school, you went on your mission, or you went to college for a year, and then you went on your mission over to the East Coast. What was it like for a small kid in the West to move out and do a mission over in the big city in New York and around that area?
Probably the best word I could describe that, it was just absolutely terrifying. Here I was when I got on that plane in Salt Lake City and started flying. We flew over Chicago, and the pilot pointed down to that big city, Chicago, and I'd never seen so many buildings in one place. I'd been to Los Angeles, family had gone to Disneyland, so I'd been there, but you drive into there and it's just different when you fly into these places. When we flew into New York City, and then they picked us up and drove us to where the mission home, and the mission home was on Fifth Avenue in New York City, right across from Central Park, and it was just, I'd never seen so many people in my entire life in one place. They had as many people living in one apartment building as we had in the whole town of Soda Springs. And then they took us, first few days that they were there, they took us down to Wall Street. If you're familiar with that area in Manhattan, they block off the traffic during the day because there's so many people down in that Wall Street district, doing business down there. At noontime, it's just wall-to-wall people. The streets are just clear full of people. It was just terrifying for a young kid, from a small community in Idaho to be in a place like that. Of course, I got used to it after a while and kind of got accustomed to what was going on there. But I can remember people saying, they'd ask me where I was from, and I'd say Idaho, and they'd ask me, what state's that in? I would almost recommend that you send your kid on a mission, because I felt like that the education that I got just being out in the world was probably worth more than any 2 years that I could have spent in college. I learned a great deal out there, learned about life.
That was Alan Erickson, part one of our interview with him. He is the the pole vault coach at Soda Springs High School. We're going to have more with him coming up after this break as we continue our Where Are They Now interview. We're about 22 and a half minutes away from the start of tonight's contest between the Soda Springs Cardinals and the Malad Dragons on KBRV 800 The Bear, with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
There's an organization in southeast Idaho whose wildlife conservation efforts have been commended by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Idaho Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and the North American Moose Foundation. Who is this organization? It's Monsanto. While Monsanto is honored by the recognition they receive, their ongoing dedication to the environment is its own reward for all of us. Monsanto. Imagine.
Whoa.
The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
There has never been a better time to convert to natural gas. Even in the summer months, natural gas is worth asking for. Rage Plumbing and Heating in Soda Springs will replace your furnace that caused you problems this winter with a new natural gas furnace, or even install a natural gas water heater to keep your water hot. Plus, Reed's can add a water softener to your home. And if you want to cool things down, Reed's Plumbing and Heating will install an energy-efficient Lennox air conditioner. All at Reed's Plumbing and Heating, 180 South 3rd Street, Soda Springs.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals on KBRV 800 The Bear. Thank you to those of you tuning in right now on our live video stream. And for those of you down in Malad, thank you for tuning in as well. Tell your friends, KBRV 800 The Bear is online at mylocalradio.com/Soda Springs. And you can watch this game that's going to be coming your way tonight between the Cardinals and the Dragons live as it happens without having to get out here into the cold and rainy weather. With that, we're going to jump into our next interview, or our next portion of the interview. We're still sitting here talking with the current pole vaulting coach for the Soda Springs Cardinals, but also one of the alumni from here. He graduated in 1970, part of that class. Let's get into the second part of our interview with Alan Erickson.
Caleb Burgraff here with Alan Erickson, who was the class of 1970 at Soda Springs High School, and he's our Where Are They Now focus today. And Alan, we have a couple more questions for you to move forward. And you went down to Arizona, spent 14 years down there in Arizona. What made you want to go down there? And then once you were down in Arizona, you said that you wanted to come back here to get your kids raised in the Soda Springs area. What was the trip coming back up to Soda like after Arizona?
Well, first I'll just take you back. My wife she's from Phoenix area, and we were going to go, I was going to continue my education vacation in Arizona after we got married, but we got married late in August, so by the time we got down to Arizona, school had already started, and so I went and got a job, and unfortunately I got a job in construction that paid pretty good money, and we thought, wow, this is cool, we're making some good money. Unfortunately, over the years, it didn't really change that much, but we went down there mostly, I was going to go back into school, but then our family came, our first daughter was born down there, and so the demand for money and having your family survive has taken precedence over going back to school. And we moved back down there because my wife had a really good job, and she was an artist. She did artwork for Yellow Pages, so she had a good paying job down there, and that was kind of our motivation to go there, but we never did get back in school. And we were down there for 14 years, and then we decided, working as a carpenter down there in the construction, you didn't have a 401k, you didn't have any stuff to put your kids through college, and that was a concern to me. And I thought, I need to go back home. Get a job, good solid job like at Monsanto or one of these places up here, and where I could make sure that I could ensure that my kids would have an opportunity to go to college. That's why we came back.
Since you've been back, you've gotten back involved with the school too. You're the pole vaulting coach at the high school now. You've done some football coaching. This will be the last question for you, and that's what made you want to get back into the school, and what's it like trying to be able to help kids out at the same school that you were able to participate in these sports at?
I never dreamed that I would be in a coaching position. It's not something that I aspired to. I got asked to come and help, because the coach that was doing that at the time, pole vault coach, his kids had all gone through and he was ready to be done with it. And he thought I would be a good fit. And so that's where I kind of got my start. And it's just a wonderful experience to get to work with these kids. Every year I think, okay, I've had enough. I don't want to do this anymore. And then you see another kid coming, you think, I bet he'd be a good one. And so you think, I'm going to stick around and just see if I can persuade this kid to come out and participate. And it's just fun being a coach when you see the kids grasp the concept, when you see them understand what you're trying to teach them. That's a very fulfilling moment in your life. And so that's probably why I've stayed with it. It's just way cool to, when you're trying to teach these kids how to pole vault, and there's several things that you need to teach them, but when you see them finally grasp that concept, and you see them, do the things that you're trying to teach them to do, and you see the excitement on their face when they clear a height that they didn't think they could ever get to, it's very fulfilling, and I think it's important for us as adults to give these opportunities to the kids. And I think sports goes hand in hand with life. You get out of it what you put in it, and that's something that these kids need to learn, It's just, for some kids it's easier, For me, running track was very easy. I was fast, so it was easy for me to do. But I've learned over the years there's a lot of things I could have done that would have made me even better. It's like I told my boy, I says, when you get done with high school, I want you to be able to look back and say, I gave it all. I didn't leave anything on the table. And I think that's important in life, is that you live it to the fullest and you take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way, and then you're going to be okay. And you'll be able to survive in society by doing those things. And I suppose that's what's so fulfilling as a coach, is that you're helping these kids become responsible adults.
Thank you so much again for coming in and talking with us, and it's been a pleasure getting to know a little bit more about you and your time in SOTA and your time outside of SOTA, and good luck to you on the rest of your career as a track coach and the rest of your days here in SOTA Springs.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here with you today.
There has never been a better time to convert to natural gas. Even in the summer months, natural gas is worth asking for. Reach Plumbing and Heating in SOTA Springs will replace your furnace that caused you problems this winter with a new natural gas furnace, or even install a natural gas water heater to keep your water hot. Plus, Reed's can add a water softener to your home. And if you want to cool things down, Reed's Plumbing and Heating will install an energy-efficient Lennox air conditioner. All at Reed's Plumbing and Heating, 180 South 3rd Street, SOTA Springs.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil. $15 is the best I can do. You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
They need your help. They're overstocked with Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They'll wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliance. If you will help them make room in their showroom, they'll help you keep money in your bank account while you're enjoying high-quality, comfortable Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They need your help, and you need to save money. Wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliances on Main Street in Soda Springs.
Welcome back out once again to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com. I encourage anyone who's not watching our video stream, go ahead and check it out if you haven't watched it yet so far this year. It is definitely worth the watch, as it is a chance for you to be here live at the game without necessarily having to deal with the conditions, and still a chance for you to follow everything Soda Springs Cardinals. This is now the Coach Cliff Garbett pregame coaches show, brought to you by Arctic Circle in Soda Springs, where the good stuff is. No one sees the game the way the coaches do, and we're going to take a few minutes to sit down and visit with head coach Kota Chitta of the Malad Dragons. Excuse me, I apologize for that, as well as sitting down with Cliff Garbett, the head coach of the Soda Springs Cardinals, to get his thoughts on what the team needs to do to come away with a win this afternoon. We'll be right back after this from Arctic Circle in Soda Springs. You're listening to the Soda Springs Cardinals and the Malad Dragons on KBRV 800 The Bear with live streaming video online at mylocalradio.com.
By choosing high-quality ingredients like Black Angus beef, French fries, and Alaskan halibut, Arctic Circle in Soda Springs makes sure you get the meal you deserve. Add one of the above-the-rim shakes and you have a meal fit for a king at a price that can feed the whole family. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or a treat after the game, stop by today and visit Renee and the team at the Soda Springs Arctic Circle on 2nd South and 1st East. It's where the good stuff is.
Caleb Burgraff here on the pregame show with Kota Chitta, the head coach of the Malad Dragons. And, Coach, the season so far for you, it seems like it's a little bit like the same kind of season that Soda's been having. Injuries have really kind of dampened a lot of the success that the team could be having.
Going into the season, our goal was a district championship. That's still the goal, and we can still make that happen. But we have had 9 varsity guys injured, and tonight we get our senior quarterback back for the first game since Marsh Valley. He will be wearing a cast on his right arm, or on his left arm, so he'll still be able to throw and whatnot. It'll just be hard for him to receive snaps, but all of our goals are still in front of us, and it just starts tonight at 7 o'clock for the varsity guys.
Your last win came 4 games ago for your team. Last week was not a pretty game, but it was against one of the top teams in the state with Aberdeen. What does that do for your team as far as motivating them to come back the next week and try and prove that was just the fact they were playing Aberdeen and not necessarily the way this team can play?
Well, last week in the first quarter and a half, we were only down 7-0. We had forced 3 turnovers. We just didn't capitalize on those. So we were in the game. And the fact that we get 3 starters back this game and then 2 other guys that help us out as subs, we're a whole different team this week than we were last week. And to stay with Aberdeen, the number 1 team in the state, for a quarter and a half without those guys gives these guys confidence that we can come here and win a tough game at Soda.
With all the injuries that you've had, was it better for you as a coach to have those early in the season to where you could build kids up and then you would get starters back as the kids were built up, or was it just not something that you really can do anything with anyways?
We did not plan on all these concussions that we've had. We bought 21 helmets this past year, and those kids with the new helmets have got the concussions. So we didn't plan any of that, but if you're going to have injuries, it's better in the non-conference. If you win this game tonight, you pretty much solidify yourself into the playoffs at some point, depending on how us or Soda end the season. So I would definitely rather go through those injuries the first 3-4 games than anywhere having injuries in conference. So
Caleb Burgraff here with Coach Cheetah, the head coach of the Malad Dragons. And with the importance of this game, you just mentioned it, the team that wins this game gets into the playoffs. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. How do you expect Soda to come out in this game? And with the conditions tonight, how do you expect that to affect it?
The conditions, this will be the first time I've ever said this, but usually we like to pass a lot. But since we've had a quarterback get hurt, we've went more to the run game. So for us tonight, it should help us out a lot. They like to pass it a little bit more than we do. They're more of that spread type that we usually are. But since we've had so many injuries, we've had to go to the run game. So I think this game will help us out if the weather does stay this way, because they like to pass around a little bit more. It's gonna come down to who takes care of the ball more tonight. And they're similar to us, where we're beat up and we're gonna see who wants it the most. It's gonna be a cold game, and it's a tough one to be out here and play, but whoever wants to win the most tonight will win that game.
Final question for you, Coach, and that's when you look at Soda Springs, the defense is really the thing that's been consistent for Soda so far this season. They've scored two touchdowns for the team, and they've been able to really get some good stops against some tough teams. How do you plan on using your offense around that, especially, again, in the conditions tonight?
Offensively, we are going to try to establish the run right away. We got our starting running back finally back this week, and he's been out for 2 weeks, so he's ready to go. And we're going to give him the ball, and we're going to let him run. We got Hayden Green and Bracken Dane to run the ball tonight, and my goal is to hand the ball off and see what they can do. Hopefully our healthy O-line this week finally can open up some holes for these two, and we can run the ball 30 to 40 times tonight and run the clock and make it our type of game this year. And run the ball.
Coach Cheetah, thank you so much for the time. Good luck to you guys tonight, and hopefully it ends up being a good contest for both sides.
Thank you very much.
That's Coach Coda Cheetah from the Malad Dragons, as we're about 7 minutes and 45 seconds away from the opening kick and starting lineups between the Malad Dragons and the Soda Springs Cardinals here in the home of the Cardinals, Archer Field in the middle of Soda Springs, Idaho. We're going to be coming back with more here on the Arctic Circles on the pregame coaches show, brought to you by Arctic Circle in Soda Springs. Our chat with Coach Cliff Garbett of the Soda Springs Cardinals is coming up next on your home for Soda Springs Cardinals football, KBRV 800 The Bear, and online at mylocalradio.com.
Here's a look at your Lalaton's food specials for the week of October 1st through the 7th. Catch K-Slot Fever. Grab select varieties of canned vegetables, 24 in a case for $12. Canned tuna fish, 48 cans for $28.32, or a case of 12 cans of premium chunk white chicken for just $11.89. Pasta sauces come in cases of 12 for $12, 20 for $20, or 24 for $24. That's a look at your Lalaton's food specials in Soda Springs.
There's an organization in southeast Idaho whose wildlife conservation efforts have been commended by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Idaho Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and the North American Moose Foundation. Who is this organization? It's Monsanto. While Monsanto is honored by the recognition they receive, their ongoing dedication to the environment is its own reward for all of us. Monsanto. Imagine.
Welcome back into the Coach Cliff Garbett Coaches Show here, brought to you by Arctic Circle in Soda Springs, where the good stuff is. We'll be right back with Coach Cliff Garbett right after this on KBRV 800 The Bear.
By choosing high-quality ingredients like Black Angus beef, French fries, and Alaskan halibut, Arctic Circle in Soda Springs makes sure you get the meal you deserve. Add one of the above-the-rim shakes and you have a meal fit for a king at a price that can feed the whole family. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or a treat after the game, stop by today and visit Renee and the team at the Soda Springs Arctic Circle on 2nd South and 1st East. It's where the good stuff is.
Caleb Burgraff with Coach Cliff Garbett from the Soda Springs football team. And Coach, this last Friday night, you guys took on the Westside Pirates, the defending state champions, and I think they proved that no matter what, they're still going to be a tough team out there. But you guys had some opportunities in those games, and you did have a couple of bright spots that did come out of that game as well.
Yeah, I thought the second half we played a lot tougher. We finally put some points on the board, which was nice. There's just some things. Our effort, the first half wasn't as good as it could have been, so hopefully we can clean up that this week and just keep pushing forward.
When you talk about that effort, you did get a second-half touchdown, and that second-half touchdown for the first time all season was not from the defense. It came from the offense. 38-yard, I believe, touchdown run or pitch and catch to Dylan Farnes. What was it like for you to finally see some of the plays working out, especially for a distance like that where it wasn't something that was just 10 yards at a time or 5 yards on something like that? It was a major gain.
Oh, it was just nice to see it happen. I mean, we've had it real close, just a difference of a drop ball or a missed block, one here, one there from games prior that if we would have done it, would have had the same result. But it's just that one guy one here, the one guy there, just not making the connection. That's the big thing for us, is just trying to get everybody on the same page and working together. That's the hardest part for us right now.
One of the other things I saw from last Friday's game was the fact that your running game really seemed to take a huge step forward. You hadn't had a game where you rushed for more than 40 or 50 yards in the game as a team. This time around, you ended up coming up with 87 or 88 yards, I believe, and a lot of it came from more the heads-up running through the gut instead of having to go around and trying to get speed on the outside. And that, I think, was a big statement on the blocking, too, showing signs of improvement.
Yeah, we did a little better job blocking up front, and we also did run the ball a lot more this time, tried to get the run game going. And I think it did. We did have some positive plays in it, and hopefully we can just continue to move forward and get everybody to do their assignments.
Caleb Berggraf with Coach Cliff Garbett, and now we look forward. Malad is coming into town. The Dragons not having a very good season either. They do have one win on their record right now, but they're a team that is also coming off of a big blowout. They lost to Aberdeen in a pretty rough game for them. Is this a good time to have that team coming in after playing Westside?
Yeah, it is a good time. I'm just hoping that we can get some guys back, this week that we've been missing. And in this last game, we had 13 guys that were suited up to go to the varsity game on the bus. So hopefully we can get a few guys back, and we can be ready to go Friday and do the best that we can do.
When you look at some of those guys you could be getting back, Matt Smith, a huge name that you could be getting back with his knee injury that he's had throughout most of the season. Also, Tanner Myers might be coming back. How big, just in those two names, is it if they make their return to the field?
They're a big piece. I mean, they're seniors, and they help provide some of the leadership for the team. And both of them are great athletes, and they would definitely help us out where we need it.
Final question for you, Coach, and that you guys get to come home for this game against Malad. And you and I were talking, and nothing against the Malad Dragons, but as far as a skill level, this is probably your best chance since American Falls in order to get a win. Is it good to have this chance at home instead of having to travel to Malad? And what are things you're expecting from Malad to make this a competitive game?
They kind of run the same stuff we do, some spread offense. They're going to throw it up, and we're just going to have to be disciplined in our job and do what we got to do. But, yeah, I'm glad we're at home and have the opportunity to play this game here. Just hopefully we can pull some things together and do the best we can and make our fans happy.
Well, Coach, thank you again for the time, and good luck this weekend. And hopefully you guys can come away with a victory and get yourselves into the win column.
All right, thanks, Caleb. Appreciate it.
This has been the Coach Cliff Garbett Coaches Show, brought to you by Arctic Circle, where the good stuff is in Soda Springs. Kickoff and starting lineups are right around the corner right here on KBRV 800 The Bear, with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Cattlemen have a code of ethics. Live each day with courage. Take pride in your work. Always finish what you start. Do what has to be done. Be tough but fair. When you make a promise, keep it. Ride for the brand. Talk less and say more. Remember that some things aren't for sale, and know where to draw the line. The folks at Mound Valley Cattle Company in Thatcher, Idaho are proud of the students at Grace High School, investing in the leaders of tomorrow. The Mound Valley Cattle Company, 208-339-0614.
MyLocalRadio.com is Southwest Wyoming and Northeast Utah's top website and the best source for local area news, weather, sports, and community events. And that's not all. MyLocalRadio.com features thousands of photographs of Wyoming and Utah high school events, from speech and drama competitions to local events, sports and activities, and much more. Check it out today and see what MyLocalRadio.com has for you.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Berggraf here on KBRV 800 The Bear, and the clock starting to wind down as we get set for our opening kick. And with that, we are going to take a look at the national anthem here as well.
Jonathan Balls will be singing the national anthem for us tonight.
As Jonathan Balls from the actual Soda Springs cross country team is going to be singing the national anthem. We'll pause for this.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And that was Jonathan Balls once again from the Soda Springs cross country team here on KBRV 800 The Bear. As right now the Soda Springs Cardinals won the opening toss they will receive. And I'm going to bring in my color man for today's broadcast, Ben Jacobson. And Ben, you've been around practice all week. What has the atmosphere been like for the Cardinals? What is the big thing coming into this game?
We got a couple guys healthy, and, they're just excited to compete, know that this is a very important game, and know that this is a team we need to compete with, in our district. So here we go.
For the Cardinals, let's take a look at the Soda Springs starters. On the offensive side first, as that is what they'll be running out with. Tanner Myers back after last week. He missed last week's game with a concussion. He is back in the lineup. That is going to be a huge, huge piece for the Cardinals. He's a senior running back and linebacker. Jake Morrison is going to be out at wide receiver. Andrew Stewart will be joining him there, as well as Ridge Thompson and Christopher Lloyd in the receiver positions. Devin Adams will be out playing quarterback, and Dylan Farnes will also be switching out with Tanner Meyer, who is going to be playing running back in the backfield with those two. As far as the offensive line is concerned, it's Branson Steiner, Matthew Smith, who's also back after having a knee injury. He is wearing a brace on his knee, but he is back into the lineup after being hurt in the first game. Matthew Smith out there, as I said, wearing number 63. Number 69 is Caden Brown, and number 78 is Jacob Housley. That is your starting lineup for the Soda Springs Cardinals here at the home of the Cardinals Archer Field. On the other side, for the Dragons, their starters look like this. Bracken Dane is going to be a defensive end and running back. After that, Tristan Hawks is the defensive back. Number 14 is Colby Dreesen. Number 15 is Cal Willie. Number 21 is DJ Evans. Number 23, Hayden Green, is a defensive back. Number 28, Alan Atkinson, plays defensive back. The linebacker, Tucker Hess will be wearing the number 50. The defensive line looks like this with Carson Kobabe, Alex Saunders, and Hugo Ramos out there on the field. The Cardinals will be receiving, as I said, the two teams lined up. This opening kickoff brought to you by the 3C Grill in Grace, Burgers, Pizza, and Barbecue. And don't forget, they cater as well. 12 minutes up on the board, and the opening kick coming your way right now on KBRV 800 The Bear, with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com. Running up to send the ball away, the Dragons will put it to the near sideline. It's going to kick and roll towards the sideline, and diving on it just at the last second is Dylan Farnes, and the Soda Springs Cardinals will take over with the ball on the 27-yard line.
That laid there just a little longer than we'd have liked to see right off the bat, but we got it covered. So
great job of sprinting to the ball, too, because that, as you said, was a race right to the ball, and the Cardinals catching a bit of a break on their own side. I don't think they expected that little bit of a pooch onside kick there to open up the game. So the starters will come out. Adams wearing the pink socks. It is pink out night for the breast cancer awareness cause, and with 11:59 on the clock, the Cardinals will look to try and do something on this opening possession. And so far this season, they've mixed up what they've done on the first possession. Some runs, some passes. Last week they started out with the running game, and with the wet ball tonight, that might be the same way that they go. Adams in the pistol with Myers behind him. And 2 wide receivers split out to each side. As the Cardinals hold on, man goes into motion, and that is going to be Ridge Thompson. Handoff goes to Myers on the near side. He's going to be wrapped up and taken down for no gain. Coming up with the tackle, the linebacker Tucker Hess, the senior, a great job sprinting to the near side.
No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10.
So no gain for the Cardinals there. The line really didn't make a huge push on that offensive front, but they're going against a large defensive line for the Malad Dragons.
They start off in that 3-man front and then bring the outside backers a lot to almost make it a 5-1 at times or a 3-3.
That's one of the reasons why a lot of coaches like those 3-man fronts. It gives them a lot more to play with as the Cardinals come up, working left to right, ball on the near side hash mark. Adams in the pistol. Calls out the signals to his teammates and is going to throw a quick screen pass to the near side, and it goes off the hands of Myers, who was lined up in the slot. He had open room, but the pass was extremely hot and goes off of his hands just a little bit too hard on that pass.
Yeah, Devin thinks he needs to get on that, but he does have more time than he can take a little off, and we can complete those.
So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 10. The ball has not yet moved from the Soda Springs 27-yard line on their first possession. 11 minutes and 13 seconds left to go as into the game comes the body of Farnes, I believe, are coming back out of the formation as the Cardinals will line him up in the slot on the near side. Myers again in that running back position. The two of them trading out positions there as the snap goes once again to Adams. Drops back, 3-step drop over to the far side. Screen pass out to Myers. He's got the 32-yard line before he's tripped up, and he's going to gain about 5 yards on the play. So Myers gets his first reception, and that's a play that the Cardinals have really been able to run well, but the receivers have not been there to catch the ball most of the time they've run that play.
Well, that was a wide receiver that needs to make that block, too. If he sticks that block, that's a 20-yard gain.
So the Cardinals will have a 4th down and 5 upcoming, so most likely a punt will be on the way with 10:41 to go on the big scoreboard. On the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard, 0-0 your score right now between the Cardinals and the Dragons. As the Cardinals trying to get the false start. Punt is up and away. Line drive kick that's going to spin down and fielded. Coming up with the ball at the 40-yard line and taking off down the near sideline is Braden Dane before finally being tripped up at the 21. Dane, a little bit fortunate he was able to handle that ball as well as he did, but nonetheless it is going to be great starting field possession for the Malad Dragons as the ball bounced right into his hands, and I don't think the Cardinals figured he was going to get that good of a running start. Special teams so far has not necessarily been a bright spot for the Cardinals so far this year, and another big return is going to set up the Dragons with 21 yards to go to the end zone. Right to left they work on your radio dial, pistol formation with the power backs as a fullback lined up in front of the leading running back. In the shotgun is quarterback Cal Willie. He'll take the snap and pitch this one out to the far side. It's behind his running back, and diving down onto the football is number 23, I believe, Hayden Green.
I don't know how the quarterback's playing with that big cast on his hand. That's a big old wad of cotton there.
Goes as a loss of 10 yards on the play. And Kane will end up picking that up, even though really not much he could do, just a smart play to dive onto the football, and that will bring the Dragons back up again in that pistol stacked formation with 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side, and a tight end pulled near the formation on the far side. Ball middle of the field. Snap goes once again to Willie. He's going to roll out to his right, pressure his face, and the ball is down on the ground again. Jumping onto it this time is Braden Dane. And Dane is able to come up with the football, but it's no gain. And it goes to 3rd down and call it 20 yards to go.
That's kind of a little Statue of Liberty play, and they run that as well as anybody in high school football. They've had a lot of success with that.
And I know this is a team in the Dragons that is really looking to move to the running game in today's contest. Excuse me, it is actually 3rd down and 15 to go as the snap once again goes into Willie. Runs out to the near side, has that cast again on his left arm, throws to the end zone and over everyone. And it will bring up a 4th down and 25 yards to go, but inside Soda territory, so an interesting decision coming up for the Malad Dragons. And you wondered if the conditions of the field were going to cost either team right now. And so far, the Dragons, 2 plays and 2 balls on the ground. One a bad pitch, but the other one a fumble. And right now, that wet ball out there on the field could be causing them some issues as they'll come up to the line of scrimmage, and it looks like they are going to try and go for it as they'll move into that shotgun. Again, Willie standing in front of his fullback. 3 wide receivers spread out to the far side of the field. Takes the snap, ball off of his hands, rolls out to his right, and is tripped up at the 45-yard line for a loss of 8 yards. Coming up with the sack on the play was Devin Adams as he knocked down his counterpart. And a great job by the Cardinals on their first defensive stand as Malad can't do anything but move backwards.
I don't mean to correct you. I'm not sure. Maybe you're right. I thought that was 21. Farnes coming along this back edge. I don't know if it was Adams. Maybe they're both 21 and 11. It's kind of hard to tell. But either way, they both sure hustled on that, I'm sure.
8:51 to go. Cardinals take over. Adams will be in the pistol once again and will hand the ball off. No, fakes the handoff and now takes it himself to the near side. He's going to meet the ground quickly on the near side. Coming up with the tackle
That's Adams on the keeper.
Is
he will lose about a yard.
the quarterback Willie as he comes up with the first tackle of the game for himself, and it's a loss of a yard on the play. As Cal Willie, the senior quarterback, back in. This is his first time back out on the field for the Malad Dragons since hurting his hand in the first game where he hit a helmet with his hand and has that hand still in a cast, playing outside linebacker. So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 11 yards to go. Cardinals with 4 overall offensive yards so far, 5 of those on a passing and -1 rushing yards to this point in time. 2nd down 11, 8:28 as the clock is stopped.
Little discussion and confusion out there for some reason. I'm not sure why.
On the near side, the athletic director for the Cardinals and
filling in a
Wade
hole over here, huh?
That's exactly what it looks like, and they'll get that fixed. As again, in that pistol formation is going to be Adams. He'll call out the snap count, fakes the handoff to Farnes. Now he's going to follow behind Farnes over to the right side. Farnes' leading blocker is going to allow him to get up to the 49-yard line of Malad. Call it a 7-yard gain on the play. Adams, a great job just following his lead blocker and finding the open holes. Gets the first rushing gain on the day for the Soda Springs Cardinals. Great job there, and Farnes, again, a good job doing a lead blocking role as he was able to slip through the holes and give enough of a distraction to the defenders to allow Adams to sneak forward. Maybe he missed a block late on in that run, but again, you can't really blame him after the 7-yard run brings up 3rd down and 4 to go from the 48-yard line officially of the Malad Dragons. Working left to right, the Cardinals will send a man into motion. That's Thompson across the formation, comes to the near side. Adams in the shotgun is going to be blitzed right away and goes down at the 45-yard line of Soda Springs. A 6-yard loss. 2 different Malad Dragons in the backfield. And the numbers for the Dragons slightly difficult to read, but it looks like one was there. Was Parker Boyer from his tackle position, number 67, and as well as a couple of other people were there too.
Number 12, James McCowson, was a little late getting back to the line. I think he was back there somewhere too.
7:03 to go. Cardinals back in their pump formation with a 4th down and 9, and they will look to send this one away. 1 man deep for the Dragons with 1 man middle of the field. Good snap and a good kick, spiraling to the near sideline, and it's going to roll to the 21-yard line, and that's where Malad is going to take over.
On about the 21-yard line of Malad, where they'll take over on downs.
And that will bring up a 1st down and 10 for the Dragons. We're at 6 minutes and 42 seconds to go, and still no score here between these two teams. And the Cardinals, out of the two, other than that initial punt return by the Dragons, have looked like the sharper team on the field.
Have played good defense. We need to get that offense in sync, though.
So
you have some good plays, and then you turn around and have that cockeyed sack, and I think they just brought a couple inside blitzers there, and it wasn't quite picked up, and darn it.
So in the pistol formation again, Willie will go with 2 backs sitting behind him, 1 wide receiver split out to each side, and standing in the shot or over at the tight end position is Jacob Reese. They'll take the snap, and another fumble onto ground. Farnes right there on top of it as he wraps up Willie. It goes as a loss of 6 yards now on that one, and a 3rd straight fumble is going to cost the Malad Dragons. As that moves them back, they have -31 yards so far tonight.
He has got to be catching that ball one-handed. I mean, that is just it's like it's toilet papered, that whole thing from the elbow down. And with a slick ball like this, I hope that continues.
Again, Cal Willie has a cast on his left hand. He broke his bone in 7 different parts, according to his coach, in that left hand. Throws a quick pass out to the far side and getting drilled on that far side as a member of the Dragons receiving corps coming up with the hit. Devin Adams, the ball flies incomplete. And again, it looked like it was Hayden Green, who was, again, the wide receiver out there on the out route, but it goes as a incomplete pass. It was 6:03 to go. Clock stops with a 3rd down and call it 16 yards to go. Cardinals defense has looked very strong here, and if they can get another defensive stop, it'll set the offense up with very good fielding position as the Dragons come out again in that stacked pistol formation. They'll snap the ball again. Willie's going to take this one himself. Rolls out, loses the ball, and the Cardinals are on it. It's going to be bumped. He bumped into his fullback and coming up with the fumble recovery.
That was that same Statue Liberty type of a play, and he just didn't get it in there where it needed to be for the running back to pick it up, and he left it on the ground behind him.
And Branson Steiner was right there to jump onto the ball. Farnes in the area as well, but Steiner was the defensive lineman who was able to get onto that ball first, and the Cardinals take over at the 9-yard line of the Malad Dragons.
9-yard line.
After 4 fumbles for the Dragons, and the Cardinals have not been able to take advantage of them until this point, and this is a good chance for them to get their offense into the end zone early in a game. They have not yet been able to do that, but it would be a building point for them. Adams in the pistol, takes the snap, drops back, pressure his face as a screen pass over the middle, and Myers pulls in the pass, is met by 6 different Dragons, tried to fight through a few of them, but ends up getting back to the line of scrimmage. A great fight by Myers, but really nothing, he know where he could go.
No, that was not set up well.
And it was also well defended by the Dragons on that as well.
Yep, they quickly read it, didn't they?
And ends up going, as I said, for a no gain. Cardinals will bring up 2nd down, and if anything, it's actually a little bit of a loss, so called a long 10 yards to go from the 9.5-yard line. 5:23 to go, the clock winds. Left to right, the Cardinals are working across your radio dial from the near side hash. Snap goes to Adams, looks out to the far side. He's going to flip this one into the hands of his receiver, and Morrison pulls in the ball before being wrapped up and taken down. Jake Morrison, the senior, ends up going again for no gain.
Play for the Cardinals to number 7, that's Jake Morrison.
So Morrison gets his first reception.
Again, there'll be no gain on the play.
Right now, the Cardinals have been 3 for 4 passing, but only 5 yards to show for it, as they really have not been able to move the ball quickly other than that initial screen pass. 4:40 to go now. Again, in that pistol formation, ball centered up in the middle of the field. Taking the snap, Adams. He's going to throw it out to the near side into his motion man as Thompson taken down hard on the near side. That's Cal Willie coming up with the hit. The cast on his hand not affecting him there.
Not there, no. that was well timed too.
I'm just impressed, to be quite simply honest, that Ridge was able to hold on to the football on that hit.
That was a good job.
Was completed to Thompson,
so that will bring up a 4th down and 9 to go from the 9-yard line. And the Cardinals, you have to think, are going to go for it there, as the Dragons defense holding strong. Although you also have the option of kicking a field goal, as Adams is a decent field goal kicker.
Yep.
That's exactly what Adams is going to end up doing. So from the near side hash, it'll end up being about a 25-yard field goal attempt. And the snap is good, hold good, kick is up and no good. Wide left, just hooked a little bit. Those angle kicks can be tough to sneak through the uprights, and that one just misses to the left side. 3:47 to go, and the Malad Dragons will live to breathe another day and will take over with the ball at the 20-yard line as it's moved up there to start out the new possession. Cardinals missed a golden chance to score, and that really has been their problem so far on this year. If you look at back to even the American Falls game, they had the ball 6 different times in American Falls territory and never were able to capitalize. Right here, if you count their home field, they've had it now 7 times inside opposition territory to start it out and have not been able to move the ball.
Well, we even completed 2 passes there and never gained a yard.
So back in the pistol formation once again is going to be Willie, as the snap is going to go to him, takes it, good handoff to the far side, running through the hole before being taken down at the 25-yard line with a solid gain of 5 yards.
Willie's handoff
is
goes
going to be,
the
I
right
believe,
side.
Bracken Dane, I
Gain of about
believe,
4 or 5 on the play.
the running
Andrew
back on the
Stewart
play.
quickly with several other Cardinals
Stewart on the tackle for the Soda Springs Cardinals.
Second down and 5 for the Dragons.
And the Dragons get their first positive rush of the game. 3:18 to go. Clock continues to move. Dragons right to left on your radio dial. Split one wide receiver out to the near side. That is Dane. One out to the left side as well as it's a pitch to the near side. The running back's going to try and come around and cuts upfield. He's going to be just about a yard short of the first down with the running play there is Hayden Green, the senior running back, gets his first positive yardage of the game.
First guy missed, but it was a good team pursuit there to get a second guy there, and I think it was Stewart held him up just long enough, even though he didn't get the tackle. He did help make that play, stopped him a little short.
Good job there, and that's a big thing in small school football is making sure you're gang tackling wherever you are because no one athlete's usually going to be good enough to make consistent tackles over and over. It brings up a third down and a yard to go from the near side hash. That pistol power formation is going to be snapped into the hands of Willie. He loses the snap again, picks it up, has a hole right in front of him though, turns on the Jets, misses a tackle and gets to the 50. Tanner Myers, the one to trip him up. And it goes as a broken play that turns into a big gainer of 21 yards for the Malad Dragons.
Setting it on the ground, almost give them an advantage there. Set that play just a little off time. D-line's got to recognize that and start to pursue left and right, though, and help out on that and close that gap in.
And for the Dragons blockers, that was definitely an impressive showing because even though the ball was botched and the fumbled on the ground, they didn't turn around to see what had happened. They just kept running with their blocks. So 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line in the pistol. Once again, Willie, he takes the snap, hands the ball off, running up to the near side and over a couple of Cardinals is Green before finally being taken down on the play by Branson Steiner, the defensive lineman, who was able to just drop back and finally trip him up at the 46-yard line of the Cardinals. So 5 yards on the play there, -6 now on the game for Green in his rushing attempts as the clock continues to move down. 1:25 to go on the big scoreboard. Nothing on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard here as the Cardinals move out on defense. 2nd down and 6 to go. In the pistol again, Willie. 2 wide receivers to each side, 2 tight ends in the formation as well. He'll hand the ball off to his fullback, who's going to carry several Cardinals for 7 yards before finally going down. That is the big body of James McCausland, the sophomore, 220 pounds, 5'10". That's exactly what you look for in a fullback. As he again carries them for 6 yards, gets the first down, and it'll be marked at the 40-yard line of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Defense has to come up with a stop here late in the first quarter. 56 seconds to go. Clock continuing to wind, and the Dragons moving the ball on their 3rd possession of the game. They fumbled it the last 2 times before having to kick it away once throw the ball away once on 4th down and fumble it away the other time. This time a handoff is going to be on the ground, and again the Dragons are going to get lucky enough to recover it.
He's just bobbling that ball everywhere. He hasn't caught that clean yet.
As squirted forward, Hugo Ramos, the offensive lineman, able to jump onto the football. It's a loss of yards on the play, and it goes down as 2nd and 12 with the ball at the 42-yard line. 21 seconds to go. Clock continues to wind, and the Dragons are going to come to the near side, so it looks like the Dragons will let the clock run out in quarter number 1. Nothing your score. The Dragons facing a 2nd down and 12 when we come back here on KBRV 800 The Bear and online at mylocalradio.com.
Hey, America. We need to have a little talk. We've got a lot of food in this country. We've got so much food that we can't eat it all. So how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids who need it. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Cattlemen have a code of ethics. Live each day with courage. Take pride in your work. Always finish what you start. Do what has to be done. Be tough but fair. When you make a promise, keep it. Ride for the brand. Talk less and say more. Remember that some things aren't for sale and know where to draw the line. The folks at Mound Valley Cattle Company in Thatcher, Idaho are proud of the students at Grace High School, investing in the leaders of tomorrow. The Mound Valley Cattle Company, 208-339-0614.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here alongside Ben Jacobson as we are in the start of the second quarter. Nothing the score on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard, and neither team's really been able to find much room on the field to this point in time. Only 6 total yards for the Cardinals and only 8 total yards for the Malad Dragons when you talk about team totals, but the Dragons are driving a little bit right now. Ball at the 42-yard line and 12 minutes on the board as the Dragons work to left to right now. And Willie again in that pistol. Snap is low, picks it up off the ground, hands it off to his fullback, and driving his way forward again is going to be James McCausland, who picks up a big bunch of yards.
Almost the first down yard.
As that will give them 8 yards on the play. And McCausland gets up to 14 yards on the game. It's a big body to try and tackle down if you are the Soda Springs Cardinals right now. Clock winds to 11.5 to go. Another snap to Willie. Hands this one off again. And it's going to be McCausland driving forward, taken down at the 20 this time. And the ball looks to be on the ground. We'll see who comes up with it as it squirted through. No initial signals, but the Cardinals look to have picked it up. And they will have the football. Another fumble. The Cardinals take over at their own 18-yard line, but the defense forces their second turnover of the game on another fumble. 2 of them, and this rain clearly affecting the Malad Dragons.
Yeah, and that was a good hit by the guy there late to put his helmet on the ball. That's something that Coach Garbett continually works on in practice, is getting your head on the ball. So hopefully that was the result of some work in practice right there.
And I know tackling is something in practice you guys spend a lot of time on early on in practice before working on the offense. So with 11:17 to go, the Cardinals will snap the ball. It's going to be Adams who tries that quick quarterback sneak up the gut, rolls forward for maybe 2 yards on the play, gets up to the 20-yard line. So Adams, with his 4th carry of the game, is going to get to 3 yards on the night, brings down a 2nd and 8 to go from the 20. And the Cardinals offense will look to try and move the chains or at least make the down and distance a little bit more manageable for 3rd down. And this has been the part of the field they seem to have played fairly well in on the season. It's when they get into those last 30 yards of the field where the offense starts to crumble a little bit. 10:40 to go, clock winds, right to left, the Cardinals move. Adams again comes up under center. He's going to pitch the ball outside this time. Myers with it. He has the corner, cuts up field, gets to the 30-yard line before finally being taken down, and a late flag comes out, and this one looks like it's going to be on the Malad Dragons after an 8-yard carry, a 10-yard carry from Myers, and
holding
it is going to be holding
on the receiver. I thought that was a great job by him, and their first indication is that that's a hold. Gosh, I thought he blocked really well there. That's unfortunate. He's trying to give that effort and do us a good job, and I didn't see that.
It ends up marching the ball back to the 20 or the 18-yard line, so the initial line of scrimmage ends up only being a 2-yard penalty for the first penalty of the game for either team, but it's still something you hate to see as it wipes out a 1st down, and now you have to go and gain 10 yards on 2nd down instead of having to gain only 8.
Well, and it was set up well. You know, you wonder why in the heck you run that quarterback up and show that early on, but that's just so you can set that up, and it was trying to get Myers out there with his speed out around the edge, or Farnes. I don't even know who really carried that. They're both very fast, and
Adams again will come back. This time they run the same play, Myers had Adams wide open on the little halfback pass to the near side. Goes over Adams' head. Too long on the pass. Great play, though. Adams had one-on-one coverage on the near side, and if he had been able to cut forward upfield, I think he might have been able to have a slight edge on the defensive back over here, Alan Atkinson, who is smaller than Adams is, and Adams has a lot of quickness that's hidden on his speed.
Well, and even if he makes a tackle this time, maybe he doesn't next time. Darn it, that just needs a little air under the ball. And Little things.
10:08 to go. Cardinals in that pistol again. Adams takes the snap, drops back to pass, plenty of time, flips it to the near side. Farnes comes up with the ball. He's got open room and dives ahead past the 30-yard line, up ahead to the 34, and it goes as a gain of 16 yards on the play. Farnes able to hold on to the ball, and the Cardinals move the chains.
Great hard run, especially when he knew the tackle was coming there. He just really protected the ball there and really did a good job. That was excellent.
And this is the type of play that the Soda Springs Cardinals have been missing so far this season, is catching those passes. It's been open almost every time they've run that play. 9:48 to go. The clock begins to wind once again. Ball at the 34-yard line of the Soda Springs Cardinals as they look to try and keep this offensive run going and keep the clock working down, maybe punch the ball in at the end of this drive. Adams in that pistol again, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and in fact it's actually a confusion there. Throws the ball out. It's going to be completed. A broken play turns into a 4-yard gain. Call it 6 actually after the ball moves up to the 40-yard line as Myers pulled it in, and a great job by Adams of making a broken play again turn into something.
I don't know if you noticed, but that almost broke twice. The running back went the wrong way to begin with, and then when he threw that ball, Andrew Stewart almost tipped it because he thought it was to him. So that was very fortunate for the Cardinals, to say the least.
But for a team that hasn't had many breaks rolling their side, a great time for it to happen. 8:57 to go. Clock continues to wind with a second down and 4. Adams takes the snap again, throws the ball deep down the field, going up and battling for it. It looked like Myers jumped up for that one, and he was contested by a Malad Dragon, and I believe that Dragon ended up being Alan Atkinson again on that far side, or it was Tucker Hess who dropped back from his linebacker position. Again, I apologize. The Malad jersey is fairly difficult to read with the orange on the gray and a sheeny type of lettering, as it just ends up blending in a little bit, not enough to make them stand out. So I apologize if I do get any names wrong, but it is 3rd down and 4 for the Cardinals with 8:48 to go. Snap goes again to Adams. He's going to do the quarterback draw up the near side, gets the first down over the 46-yard line and drops ahead. Another 6-yard carry for the Cardinals. Adams moves up to 9 on the game, and this is much like what we expected the Cardinals offense to be able to run all season long. This is where you see the team starting to pick up steam, and the way they're playing right now, this is not an 0-4 team on the field.
No, they're doing exactly what they need to do. They're threatening just enough with a couple of completed passes, and now Malad's sitting back just a hair, and that makes a little draw like that open up.
And you're not making mistakes either. You're not turning the ball over like the Dragons have so far, as Adams again in the pistol sends a man into motion to the near side. That's Farnes. Looks for Farnes, but a flag is going to fly, and that's going to be a false start on the Cardinals, as that'll move them back 5 yards and to the 41-yard line, I believe, unless they call encroachment. And it looks like it's encroachment, as this one is going to be on Malad and the Dragons. So somebody obviously had a too quick of a jump and was unimpeded
Either that
to the
or
quarterback.
lined up offsides.
And it ends up costing them 5 yards, so it'll be a 1st down and 5 to go as Malad picks up their first penalty, and not a good time to have that penalty come. Never a good time, but right now when Soda's gaining some momentum on the drive, that's exactly the worst thing you can have happen as a coach. Cardinals will have the ball at the 48-yard line of the Malad Dragons, working right to left as they cross the midfield line. 7:55 to go. Adams in that pistol, waiting the blitz that's coming. It's picked up well. Near side, the handoff goes to Farnes. He's going to go through a pair of different Dragons, knocked off his feet by Bracken Dane, but Farnes ends up gaining about 2 yards on the play.
Excellent job by Farnes there. There was really no room for a gain there, and he made 2 yards out of that.
And so much of it is just turning yourself upfield as quickly as possible instead of trying to get the corner. When you see nothing, cut your losses and just try and get something.
Exactly. He did that very well. You're sure right.
7 minutes and 22 seconds to go. Clock continues to wind with a 2nd down and call it 3.5 yards to go from the 46 of the Malad Dragons here at Archer Field. The Cardinals with one of their best drives of the year. 0-0 on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. In the pistol, Adams looks out to his team, calls out the snap count, hands this one off again to Farnes. He has to get to the corner to outbeat several different Dragons and ends up going for no gain on the rush. And again, that play just broke down too quickly. Not great blocking up front, and great pursuit by the Dragons to get off of their blocks. Brings up a 3rd down and 3 to go. Again, the ball at the 46-yard line of the Dragons. The Cardinals need to get it to about the 42.5. And with 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the second quarter of play, this game, which has gone by very quickly to this point in time, a lot of running plays coming from the two teams. The rain's starting to come down a little bit heavier at the home of the Cardinals, but the Cardinals, if they can get a good 3-yard play here, are going to give themselves a bit of an advantage. Snap goes to Adams. He'll come to the near side, pitches it out to the near side where Myers has plenty of room, catches a key block, cuts back to his right. He's got nobody in front of him but blockers, and he's going to roll his way into the end zone for a 46-yard run. But flags on the play back at the 40-yard line and the 43-yard line, and the Cardinals might be seeing this one come back, and that's a shame because that was a well-blocked play, a great play, and a perfect pitch. So the Cardinals will be coming back after what looks to be another holding play. They'll mark it back from the 43-yard line, so right at the first down marker. And it'll be a block in the back, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 10 yards, I believe, coming up from the 47 of Soda Springs. As they march this one backwards, and that's exactly where it will end up. So 12 total yards and penalties for Soda Springs now, and it goes to a 3rd down and 10, and that is a drive killer.
Boy, I didn't see that. Not disagreeing with the refs, I just didn't see it at all. But Myers did a good job of cutting back against the grain, and his speed had everybody helpless there.
So the offensive touchdown is called back, but if you're the Cardinals, you have that idea now that you can do plays like that.
Yeah, you see that in your head. Hopefully, yep.
6:06 to go. 3rd down and 10.
Well, we've been working on practicing engaging and fighting. That was just a hair too much fight, but at least it's an attempt to stick with somebody.
Adams in the pistol once again, takes the snap, drops back. Plenty of time to throw, flips this one over the head of Myers. Too far for him to reach that one in, and it goes as an incomplete pass. Although, in the positive side for Adams so far, he's 6 for 8 passing the ball so far tonight. A big improvement on some of his earlier passing performances in the game. He only has 27 yards, but again, 6 completions for 27. You're averaging 4 yards a completion.
Yep. That was a confidence-building drive, I hope. And I guess here they're taking a little time to discuss it.
As the decision to go for it, this
right
interesting field position. And the way your defense is played, the way that Malad's offense has handled the ball, it could be something to decide to go for. Back to return the kick, if it is a kick,
probably
is
want to
DJ Evans.
Yeah, they look like they're lining up there to kick it with Matthew back in the backfield.
So Matt Smith back to kick this ball away, takes the snap, good snap and a good run up, but a bad kick. It goes off of one of the Cardinals' backs and rolls ahead to the 35-yard line. It does end up costing the Dragons 20 yards of field position, but the Cardinals would have hoped for a little bit of a better position there.
Yeah, that's not going to help us at all because I believe it's dead once it hits the lineman in the back there. Matt just dropped that ball a little bit and didn't get all of his foot on it at all.
If it does go to where the backer or it hit the back of the lineman, it'll come back around to the 45-yard line. And the Malad Dragons wanting that call, and that's exactly what they're going to end up bringing the ball forward to. So the 45-yard line, call it the 49-yard line. So it ends up being a very costly punt to the Cardinals, and the Dragons will pick up with great field position in this play.
You know, and those are the things this team's got to get over. Those kind of things, they're frustrating.
So the Cardinals defense back on the field again. They forced 2 turnovers in the game so far, and with 5:53 they need another one to come their way. As a good snap this time, Willie hands the ball off again, and this time taking the ball is going to be Dane. Has room down the left side and is going to be finally finally pushed out of bounds at the 25-yard line. It ends up going as a gain of 25 yards on the play. The 26-yard line is the official spot, and Bracken Dane, with his 3rd carry, gets to 30 yards. That is a huge run for the Malad Dragons. And Dane really just not going down. The Cardinals met him several different times, but he was able to shrug off some of the tackles that they were trying to get on him. Rain continues to fall here at Archer Field. Another good snap. This one, is going to be bobbled. New quarterback in the play, I should mention as well, as it comes out to the running back on a pitch. Struggles through a few tackles before finally falling forward to the 20-yard line. On the rush there is Hayden Green, as that 6-yard gain is going to get him back to positive yards. 4 rushes for no yards on the game. 5:18 to go. Clock will continue to wind. And again, there is a new quarterback out there for Malad and the Dragons, as Hayden Dane, the freshman quarterback, has been playing under center now. Hayden also got some time in the JV game, so he only has 3 quarters available, but he did not play in the first quarters. He is in the pistol, takes a snap, hands this one off behind him, and it's going to be to his brother, who is going to be wrapped up and taken down. A flag comes out in the backfield, though. This one should be a holding play. Bracken Dane, if it stands, is going to go for about a 1-yard carry.
I believe you're right with the hold, though. That was sure just a guy was almost tackled there, I believe.
It looked like Farnes was the man who came up a little bit late, too, so coming off a blitz from his outside linebacker spot, got held up, and that's going to cost the Dragons 10 yards now, as that'll move them back.
The Dragons will bring that one back
to the officially the 35-yard line. So actually it ends up going as a loss of 15 on the play.
Because it was in the backfield, wasn't it?
It was. 20 total yards of penalties for the Malad Dragons brings up a second down and 18 yards to go, as they need to get the ball up to the 16-yard line. So in fact, actually call it second down and 19. Snap goes up. Ball's taken, and down goes the quarterback. Straight up the gut comes the blitz from Branston Steiner.
Yep,
a senior defensive lineman playing the linebacker spot there, just straight up the gut, and the sack goes for a loss of 6 yards, and Hayden Dane had no response for him there. And a big defensive play is going to make it now third down and 25 yards to go.
With this young freshman quarterback, that's exactly what you need to do. I watched Firth hit him a few times down in Malad, and he started throwing up some junk and getting really happy feet. So
you got to get in their head early on, especially when they're young. Although in 3 years that might not be the case, but now take advantage when you can.
Yeah, he's still very athletic. Good kid.
Good snap. Bobbled snap goes down to the ground. Dane picks it up, though. He's going to run it over to the left side. Gets out of bounds at the 29-yard line. And it goes as a good run for about 10 yards, 11 yards on the carry. As a broken play once again turns into a positive for the Dragons. And with 3:52 to go, the Cardinals will have a 4th down and 15 coming up for Malad.
I don't know where the right side of our defense went on that, but they disappeared.
There really was nobody there for about 10 yards in front of him when he actually got out in the open. It'll be, as I said, 4th down and 15 to go. Malad with the ball at the 30-yard line. Snap is good. Dane throws it to the near side, and it goes through the receiver's hands and dropped onto the turf. DJ Evans, the tight end, was the intended target, but it ends up going for nothing. The second passing play of the game for the Malad Dragons is going to leave the Cardinals with possession at the 30-yard line. So decent field position again. The defense stands strong.
Well, we talk about the Cardinals wasting some opportunities. This Malad Dragon team has struggled making a little bit of some of their opportunities as well.
They've had some solid carries, some solid runs in the game so far, but every single time they seem to shoot themselves in the foot as the rain continues to start falling even harder here. It was supposed to do that throughout the evening with a 50% chance of showers, and with 3:48 to go, that is coming true. Snap goes to Adams. He's going to hand this ball off to the near side. Farnes has it and is tripped up, falls forward to the 33-yard line, and Farnes carries it for 3 yards.
To pick up about 3 yards on the left side.
So the Cardinals will continue with this. The Dragons will get the ball back to start out the second half of play, so they did defer. That is something the Dragons have on their side, but with no score here, neither team really coming up with anything positive to this point in time that you can really take back and use as a lot of motivation for your team coming out. So it'll be Adams again in that pistol formation. 2 wide receivers flanked out to each side. Right to left, the Cardinals work. He comes to the near side. The ball almost intercepted. In the way of it was Bracken Dane. It went off his fingertips. I don't even think he knew the ball was coming his way, much less I don't think Adams saw him.
Yeah, that was fortunate for the Cardinals to not get that picked off.
It was intended for Ridge Thompson, who was cutting across, and if Ridge catches that ball, he had running room to at least pick up the first down. But again, a pass well behind him ends up only almost costing the Cardinals, as with 3:04 to go, it's 3rd down and 7 now.
Rain's picking up a little here, isn't it?
Definitely is. I'm worried about the equipment every once in a while right now with the drips coming off of the canopy up here on top of the press box, but the players right now have to really be concerned about holding onto the football as Thompson goes into motion. Left to right, they'll flip the ball out to that side, and it's too far out of the reach of Tanner Myers. Adams just a bit long. He's missed on his last 3 attempts, and he moves down to 6 for 10 passing, and it brings up a 4th down and 7 to go for Soda Springs, so another punt upcoming.
Those need to be highly completed balls right there.
Those are just like you say. I mean, that's your shortest
high
pass.
Percentage.
Your running back should never have to go too far to get it. But part of it, Adams seems to be throwing off his back foot, and you still have to step into those passes in order to get a good base going forward, and he doesn't seem to be doing that. And it will be Adams in the backfield to kick as he moves back instead of Matt Smith. As good snap. Good kick, a spiraling kick that drives all the way back to the 25-yard line. It's bobbled. Cardinals move up. They roll over it, and it looks like the Cardinals recover, although there is a mad scrum for the football at the 23-yard line.
I believe Jake Morrison pulled it out from behind there. The kid, lad kid, had his back to the ball, or his butt on the ball in this case, and I think we got a hold of it there.
And I think it was DJ Evans who was not able to, that is actually the big fullback in number 12, James McCausland, who is not able to hold on to the football, and it ends up going to the Cardinals, a big break. And again, the Malad Dragons, they're having so much trouble holding on to the football. So 1st and 10, ball at the 23 for the Soda Springs Cardinals as they take over once again. Adams in that pistol, ball on the near side hash, right to left. The Cardinals work on your radio dial. Good snap to Adams. Flags fly right away, though, and this one is going to be a false start on the Cardinals, so move them back 5 yards.
I believe that was on the receiver, wasn't it, on this side? One of the two?
I believe so, and especially when you don't have a big crowd like this, you can't have that happen as a receiver. You have the benefit of waiting for the ball to be snapped because you don't have somebody coming at your face right away. You have to be, especially when the play's not coming to your side.
Yeah, that was going away from them. They got to watch that ball be snapped and not listen to the count and be disciplined there.
Clock continues to wind at 2:25 to go as Adams comes back to the huddle with the play. Gives it to his squad, and the Cardinals will come up to the line of scrimmage. And again, in that pistol formation, same formation they use all year. Ridge Thompson goes into motion left to right, and a false start. This time it will be encroachment on the defense. That is going to be James McCausland, who jumped early on the defensive side. And just like that, the ball will be marched back, I believe. They're going to call it on the Cardinals again. So another false start on the Cardinals, and all of a sudden you had 1st down and 10 at the 23-yard line, and now it's 1st down and 20 at the 33-yard line. The Cardinals go in the wrong direction on this drive. 2:08 to go here. Cardinals come up to the line as the clock begins to work its way down. 2:06 in the first half of play to go. Nothing your score as Ridge Thompson again goes into motion. Good snap this time. Adams looks out that way. Thompson is going to be taken down early. An easy call for the officials as several flags fly. Jumping in well early on that one was Willie, the quarterback, and he just jumped it too early.
That was way early. That wasn't, I don't know whether he tripped, so he just grabbed a hold of him, but he didn't even try to react on that one.
And that's the tough part for the Dragons. That's 15 yards and an automatic 1st down for Soda Springs on that play. And you talk about gaining momentum, and all of a sudden all that momentum just disappeared on that pass interference penalty. 35 total yards of penalties for the Dragons so far, as they're very close to having more penalty yardage than offensive yardage in this first quarter and half. And with the quarter clock at 1:56 to go, the Cardinals move up to 1st down and 5 yards from the 18. Adams will be in that pistol formation, takes the left foot up, sends Thompson into motion, looks over to Thompson, throws this one in towards the end zone, completed pass. It's Myers who stepped in front of Thompson, though, to pull it in. An 18-yard strike for the 2nd touchdown of the year for the offense.
From Adams to Tanner Myers. Touchdown.
And Tanner Myers pulls it in.
Well done. Well done, the play there. Well set up. Tanner Myers was full speed when he caught that. That ball was right on the money. Right on the money for Devin. That was a good job by, and he had plenty of time to make that pass, too.
And a great job by Myers just watching that one and pulling it in the wet conditions as the snap and the hold is good. Kick is up from Adams. That is good, and the Cardinals take themselves a 7-0 lead here on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com. 1:51 to go in the first half of play. The Cardinals have their first lead of the year on their home field on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
MyLocalRadio.com is Southwest Wyoming and Northeast Utah's top website and the best source for local area news, weather, sports, and community events. And that's not all. MyLocalRadio.com features thousands of photographs of Wyoming and Utah high school events, from speech and drama competitions to local events, sports and activities, and much more. Check it out today and see what MyLocalRadio.com has for you.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals, where for the first time at home this year, the offense strikes for a touchdown as Devin Adams ends up knocking one into Tanner Myers. And Ben, that was maybe, it ended up being a good play, but there was a little bit of even confusion on who it was going to, as you had two receivers in the position, but the Cardinals, you'll take it.
Oh, boy. That's a big load off their shoulders. Let's see them play a little more relaxed now, I hope, and continue to build on that.
Minute 51 to go here. First half of play. Cardinals up 7-0 on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. As it'll be Adams to kick the ball away right to left. Kickoffs brought to you by the 3C Girl and Grace Burgers, Pizza, and Barbecue. Don't forget they cater as well. A short kick that is going to go out of bounds, and it will bring up the Malad Dragons to the 35-yard line, where they'll take over and start.
Just didn't want any return there, I think, but I think they meant to keep it in play. It just got a little out of bounds there.
Well, of course, we'll have our halftime show coming up after this. We're going to have our halftime highlights brought to you by London Drug and Grace, locally owned, locally operated, locally loved. We'll also talk a little bit about what the game was going and where the Cardinals need to improve more. It is going to be re-kicked by the Malad Dragons, so they see through the feint, I guess you could say, by the Cardinals to try and avoid a return, and they're going to try and force the Cardinals to do that, as the ball will be marked back at the 35-yard line now for the re-kick. And we're also going to take a look at our standout student, as Ariana Finlayson will join us on the halftime show. And we're going to talk with her a little bit also about a fundraiser that's going to be held tomorrow night right here at the track, as they're going to be doing a fun run for a charity. We'll talk more about that with Ariana during the halftime show. Adams set to kick this one again. 1:51 to go here, first half of play. Adams lined up at the 31, now runs up and is going to send a spinning kick that is going to bounce at the 30-yard line of Malad, is picked up on the far side, and a short return to the 34-yard line as a great tackle on the far sideline
35-yard line.
Looked to be made by Dima Kimball, who came up and was able to lay a pretty good hit.
That actually cost Malad, making them re-kick 2 yards. Well,
and I'm sure their coach is extremely frustrated about that entire. Dang it, who told me to go for that?
That's right. He'll live with it, I imagine. The anguish won't keep him up at night.
Minute 48 to go. Malad looking to try and strike late here in the first half. Cardinals up 7-0 on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. It's going to be a double reverse pitch back to the receiver and a fumble out of bounds. Are they going to call it a complete pass? They should call it a complete pass, as it was pitched back to the quarterback in Dane, and then a run forward to the 47-yard line. They're going to call it incomplete. A very close call there on that one, though.
He must have bobbled it a little bit there that we couldn't see from this side.
It was on the far sideline, so you can't really tell. The Cardinals bench immediately went to signal incomplete pass. And again, I can't say whether it was or wasn't, and it did start tumbling out of his hands almost instantaneously.
Well, if it wasn't, we know for sure that the coaches did a good job of selling it. That's a flop on the coaches if that wasn't an actual bobble.
Although Hayden is 0 for 2 now. Hayden Dane, the freshman quarterback, trying to hook up with a receiver on that play. He'll come back up with 4 wide receivers, trip set out to the near side, and 1 back behind him. That is McCausland. And a little bit of confusion coming as the officials clearing things up. 1:40 to go. Now we're ready for play. Whistle blows, and the snap is going to be a good one to Dane. Drops back, rolls out to his right, has pressure in his face, flips one out to the near side, trying to hook up with his brother in Bracken Dane. It goes outside of his reach by about 2 yards, and the Cardinals defense will hold again. Brings up a 3rd down and 10 to go. And right now, if you're the Cardinals, you might have another chance to get your offense out there.
Yeah, you hope so, especially with the passing opportunities that we can make.
And it looks like Adams, as a senior, is having a much better time controlling the ball in this rain that we're having here tonight than the Dragons have had at this point in time. Minute 35 on the scoreboard, 3rd down and 10. Ball at the 34-yard line on the far hash, left to right. The Dragons are working in that pistol formation with the stacked defense. Cardinals bring pressure. 6 men coming up the gut. It's a draw play, though, and straight through the left side is going to be the quick and speedy running back, I believe. And I think that was Bracken Dane who took that carry.
That's Dane, number 1 on the
So Dane
carry.
is the carrier, ends up rumbling forward to the 35-yard line, and a gain of 31 yards.
Tackle made there, I believe, by Logan Mumford, helping out from the JV, coming up to play a little defense there, and glad to have him up from the JV on that one.
Timeout's going to be called by Malad. We'll take one as well on KBRV 800 The Bear, and back after this with live video streaming on mylocalradio.com.
There has never been a better time to convert to natural gas. Even in the summer months, natural gas is worth asking for. Rage Plumbing and Heating in Soda Springs will replace your furnace that caused you problems this winter with a new natural gas furnace, or even install a natural gas water heater to keep your water hot. Plus, Reed's can add a water softener to your home. And if you want to cool things down, Reed's Plumbing and Heating will install an energy-efficient Lennox air conditioner. All at Reed's Plumbing and Heating, 180 South 3rd Street, Soda Springs.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals here at Archer Field. Caleb Burgraff alongside Ben Jacobson. Thank you for joining us both on the Bear as well as online at mylocalradio.com. And a shout out to all the visitors who are watching this down in Malad as well as watching around the Soda Springs area, avoiding the rain tonight.
I would like to shout out Trevor Ward in Malad if he's listening. He's a friend of ours that comes up and helps us at Caribou Memorial on some weekends and at the X-ray department, and done us a good job here in Soda.
Minute 25 to go. As again, it will be back in the shotgun. Dane, he's going to throw the ball out to the near side, has a receiver, and it's going to be caught. Pulling it in on the near side at the 26-yard line is Caden Green. First completion of the game ends up going to the 16-yard line as a gain of 19 yards. First completion for Malad in the game. And it's a big one as it puts them into scoring position with a minute 13 to go. Plenty of time to work with on the clock. As that will bring the Cardinals back up on a quick blitz. They want a false start on the near side tackle. We'll see what the officials end up going with here as the Dragons clapping their hands, though, so this might be on the Cardinals. Dane came off towards his coach.
It shouldn't
applauding.
Be, I don't believe, because 55, jumped off of there to catch him, and you can't draw. I don't believe you can draw that offense offside like you can.
And that is Rhett Daniels, but it is on the Cardinals. They had 2 people come blitzing on the near side, and a tough call against the Cardinals, a tough break. Another set of penalty yards for Soda Springs as they move up to 27 total yards and penalties tonight. Malad will come back up to the line of scrimmage. Dane in that pistol with a stacked front behind him. Takes the snap, gives the handoff. This one's going to be over to his brother, the elder Dane, the senior, and he's stuffed for no gain at the 13-yard line.
Be little or no gain on the left side. Timeout, Malad.
Cardinals sniffed that one out with 48.2 seconds left to go, and another timeout's going to be called by Malad. We'll keep this one right here, and right now this is crunch time for the defense. You've had stops so far, but going into the half with a lead right now compared to going into the half without that lead is going to be a huge difference for this Cardinals team momentum-wise.
Oh, yeah. It's crucial to get this stop. It really is.
Especially when you look at the fact Malad takes the ball to start out the second half.
Correct.
And they've started to really bust out some bigger plays. You had the 31-yard run that came from Dane. You also had the 25-yard run from Dane. He's really starting to spread the field. And then also that completed pass to Hayden Green from Hayden Dane. The two Haydens completing it there on a tough play in tough conditions.
That completed a pass. I hope they try that again because that ball was just a hair lofted, and our defense will react and come up big there.
48.2 seconds left to go as under the pistol is going to be Hayden Dane once again. Takes the snap, drops back, fakes the handoff, now looks across the field, pressures faces, no one's open, goes to the back of the end zone and through the hands of the receiver. Dane hits the deck in the backfield, but it was no late hit as just great pursuit by the Cardinals, falls incomplete and brings up a 3rd down and 5 from the 12 or 13-yard line.
Was that tipped a little bit by Farnes? I think Farnes got a hand on that.
It possibly was on that passing attempt. Again, I mean, it was really just Hayden Dane trying to make something out of nothing as the Cardinals' defensive coverage down the field was
Really
great.
good.
His initial option coming across from left to right was covered well by the linebacker. 41 seconds to go, 3rd down and 5. Dragons again come up at the line of scrimmage at the 13-yard line. Snap goes again to Hayden Dane. Rolls to the near side, fakes it, hands it off on that Statue of Liberty play. Cardinals, though, this time defend it well. It goes for a loss of 1. 4 Cardinals take down Bracken Dane.
Down by the Cardinals.
I guarantee you the coaches have been yelling, watch that, it's coming. Well, and if they didn't, the kids did a good job to recognize that. They got to be football players and recognize those kind of things themselves, and on that play, they got her done.
Especially after being burned by it on only about 5 or 6 plays ago for 31 yards. And again, nobody went past on that one. That was phenomenal defense played by the Cardinals, and it couldn't come at a better time. You force now a 4th down and 6 to go as the Dragons need to end up finding the 8-yard line, and they have the ball placed at the 15. So, a loss of 8 yards or 2 yards on the play, and it brings up that 4th down and 7.
Yeah, and makes it a good opportunity for them to get this 4th down stop. They need it, and 27 seconds left. Even if they were to manage a first down, they're getting short on timeouts. The defense is looking good here.
And take yourself a knee and go into the half with the lead in your favor.
Yep.
And the way your defense has played so far, again, you offsides as coming through the line for Soda Springs was Caden Brown, just a little bit too jumpy, and it's going to cost them 5 yards. An easy call there by the officials.
Can't do that. Can't have that.
It was a 5 wide receiver set for the Dragons as well, and you can see that Brown definitely upset with himself in that huddle right now for the defense.
Well, they work on that every day in practice. And, if there's anything like that happens, they do push-ups and stuff, and that's just something that's been done over and over and over again, that still you make that mental mistake.
The good news for the Cardinals is it still is 4th down and 2. That's still that shotgun formation. Bad snap to Dane, picks it up off the ground, floats one into the end zone, past his receiver. It drops down to the turf, and the Cardinals defense will hold. And frustration on some of the Dragons linemen face it. That was great protection.
And he had him open.
And I think Dane rushed the throw.
He did. Exactly like when Devin misses them receivers. He just got excited. He saw how open it was and just threw a dart instead of putting a little air under the ball.
So the Cardinals, after giving up the penalty yardage, will still find a way to hold, and it will go to the half most likely with the score at 7-0 on our Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. 22.4 seconds left to go here, and the Cardinals take over at the 10-yard line. And again, I would be highly surprised if the Cardinals try to do anything much more than just trying to run the ball up here or take a knee.
They might even take a knee, yeah. You'd be right. It'd probably be wise just to do that.
And Farnes already gave the signal to the official in the back that they are going to take a knee. Adams under center. He is going to take the snap quickly and goes straight to the knee. So that is how the half will end. Clock will wind out for the final 20 seconds as the Malad Dragons have no more timeouts. And the Cardinals, for the first time all half, will go to the break with a lead. All year long they've been playing from behind, and this time we'll see how they can react coming back from the lead. As we come back here on KBRV 800 The Bear, we'll have our halftime show brought to you by London Drug and Grace, locally owned, locally operated, and locally loved. Your local good neighbor pharmacy on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
How'd I do?
You'll get better. Tim can't wait to be a real driver. But for now, he's king of the online track thanks to Silver Star Communications high-speed internet. Reliable, consistent speeds give him the edge against players anywhere, even the other end of the couch.
Whoa. You'll get better.
Visit silverstar.com to learn more.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
They need your help. They're overstocked with Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They'll wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliance. If you will help them make room in their showroom, they'll help you keep money in your bank account while you're enjoying high-quality, comfortable Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They need your help, and you need to save money. Wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliances on Main Street in Soda Springs.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a left.
You are not going to
Then what you're
going
to do is turn onto Marcy
and Brad
Avenue.
just broke up,
and go past
and
the first
apparently
3
she's
lights
happy
and then
about
take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
then
think
drive 5
she's
more
happy,
blocks
but
and you should be
who
there.
am I to judge, right?
Park on the
Anyway,
right.
That's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here alongside Ben Jacobson from the football team, who's running my camera as well as doing color for me here tonight. Let's take a look at our first half highlights in this game, brought to you again by London Drug and Grace, locally owned, locally operated, and locally loved. Your local good neighbor pharmacy. They are bringing you this first half recap. And for the Soda Springs Cardinals, only 9 carries and 14 rushing yards in the game, but so far the passing game, 5 for 12 for 46 yards, maybe the best that it's looked all season long to this point in time. The receivers holding onto the ball, and for the most part, Devin Adams has been on the money with his passes, and he has that pass in the second quarter from him to Tanner Myers for 19 yards and that touchdown. The PAT was good. That's how the Cardinals got to their 7-0 lead, the only score in the game. On the other side for Malad and the Dragons, 76 rushing yards on 20 carries so far. They have 2 fumbles, though, that have turned it back over to the Cardinals. 1 deep in Cardinal territory, 1 back around the 35-yard line, and a botched kickoff return, or a punt return that ended up giving the Cardinals great field position as well. They have 1 completion for 19 yards so far in the game, and overall, just the inconsistency of Malad has been overcome by the drive by the Cardinals at this point in time, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, I noticed after that last drive by Malad down there where they had the chance to score there before the half, the quarterback, or the freshman quarterback, his coach was trying to keep his head up, keep his chin up, but he was doubled over in disgust with himself. And, you know, they're dealing with a young kid there, and they could keep the senior in because he could not hang on to the ball. That was obvious. So hopefully Soda could continue to get in his head and he doesn't have some growing
And that
in the second half.
And that was where I was talking with the coach earlier before this game, and one of the things he was saying is during practice, their main quarterback, Cal Willie, was not having trouble holding onto the football with that cast. But the difference is you had dry conditions during the week.
Yep.
We had light rain, if anything, during the week. And most of the time, by the time the afternoons came around, it was dry, and you had plenty of easy times to practice. Tonight, that's not the case. It's been raining all throughout the day here in Soda Springs. The rain continuing to come down right now. It's actually lightened up a little bit from what it was there in that second quarter. And I think that has played with Malad, as I don't know if they were expecting it to be this tough to hold on to the football tonight.
Probably not, and it is slick. But, you know, give Soda credit. They're playing with a wet football too, and they've done a good job of keeping the ball off the ground. And, in fact, I don't believe we've had a turnover, have we?
No, and one of the keys to that I was just going to mention is that fact that the Cardinals have not turned the ball over. They've been very solid with their offensive sets, and they haven't made the big mistakes. I think that's one of the things that's cost them so far on the season is they've either had the snaps over the quarterback's head, or they've had the fumbles, the missed pitches, the broken plays that they can't recover from. And this time there's been 1 or 2 broken plays, but they haven't cost them. And when they did cost them, the Cardinals were able to get a good punt off.
If they've done anything costly, it's penalties. And, you got to keep in mind, too, they scored there early in the second quarter, I believe it was, with that option play to number 2, Tanner Myers, I believe, again. And so hopefully, they can realize that and have a little momentum going into halftime and not to get comfy in there and come out and finish this thing off.
And that's definitely, I think, the case. When you look at this, though, I think I want to say one thing, though, and that's on the defensive end. They have to stop having some of these lapses that they've been having, because eventually, Malad, if they keep getting those chances, Hayden Dane is not a bad running back. I mean, he's proven that so far, and he has that speed that I don't know if there's a Cardinal as fast as him. They've had some good angles that they've taken to him, but he looks to be possibly the fastest player on the field, except for maybe the speed that Tanner Myers can bring out to the field sometimes. But when you look at that, he is the most dangerous thing that the Cardinals have to look to tonight.
Yes, they got to keep him under wraps. And, they've had several good hard runs, but it seems like Soda's kind of warming up to those and making them a little tougher to get to. That one big gash, we saw that with that Statue of Liberty play, but what did our defense do? They learned from that. They were the smarter players later on when it was run from the 15 and it got 1 yard or lost a yard, and that's what they need to continue to do there, is continue to fire.
So there's your halftime highlights, brought to you by London Drug and Grace, locally owned, locally operated, and locally loved. Your local good neighbor pharmacy. We have 18 minutes and 17 seconds left to go here in halftime. We're going to take a quick look at our standout student as Ariana Finlayson joined us. She's going to talk with us about a fundraiser that's coming up tomorrow night, in fact, and if you want to be involved in that, we'll have contact information to get in touch with her, as well as the time. You need to be here at 6 o'clock tomorrow night if you want to be a volunteer, and that's a good time to show up if you have questions about it as well before it gets too dark. And it'll be a midnight fun run, though. Let's meet Ariana Grande, our standout student for the week over at Soda Springs High School.
Caleb Burgraff joined here with senior Ariana Finlayson from Soda Springs High School. And Ariana, you're a standout student for this week. And the first question for you, how's the school year been going so far?
It's been going really well. Just been trying to get my senior project going and hopefully get it done on the winter track.
That senior project is, we'll talk a little bit more about as that goes on, but the first thing to talk about is classes. What are you taking so far this year, and which classes are you enjoying the most?
I'm taking MedTerm online and Anat and Phys, mostly just because those relate to the type of career that I want to go into, so they've been going really well.
When you look at your senior year, how much more difficult has the senior year gotten than the earlier years of high school, or has it gotten easier as you've kind of gone through the school year?
It's becoming a lot harder because I realize that I'm towards the end and I just want it to be over. So it's harder to have the motivation to keep going.
Senioritis can always be tough. What are some of the tricks you've learned throughout your years in high school to make it a little bit easier on your progression through?
Study a lot, and even if you don't want to put the effort in, it's going to be worth it in the end.
Obviously, the teachers help out a lot here, too. Who are some of your favorite teachers to take classes with? And if you had advice for any upcoming students on who to take and ways to get on the teacher's good side for those teachers, what would it be?
Mrs. Collins and Mrs. Fetzer are a few of my favorites. They're pretty chill and a lot of fun. Mrs. Fetzer loves the Seahawks, so anything to do with that, you could get on her good side. And Mrs. Collins, just get her a milkshake and you won't be marked tardy.
Caleb Burgraff here with Ariana Finlayson, and we'll talk a little bit about your senior project now. First of all, you're doing a fun run on Saturday night, this Saturday night. Talk a little bit about how you came up with that idea and what the purpose of it is.
My mom and my older sister Alana helped me with the idea because I wanted to do something to serve someone else for my senior project, and we decided to do a run for Tiffany Unsworth because she's just always been an amazing person and she deserves something good to happen for her.
It's a midnight fun run, which means you're going to get a lot of people that come out in this community that really do enjoy running. Is that the only way that people can participate in this, though?
People can come to run or to walk or cheer anyone on. There's going to be a bake sale, a raffle, where our winners will be announced. and many people just come because they support and love Tiffany, so it's going to be a fun night.
I know you were talking about needing volunteers as well for this. What time would they need to be there, and what would some of the volunteer jobs that you have open need to be?
We would need volunteers to come around 6:30 so we could get them into their places and organized. We mostly just need them for directing people along the course. They can contact me on Facebook or call or text me at 681-7033.
After that, you're going to be, obviously your senior project is a big deal. Doing it this early in the year, are you excited to kind of get it done with soon and kind of move on after that to the rest of your senior year and enjoy the rest of it?
Yes, I'm excited for it to happen because I know it's going to be fun, and it's just going to be like a big relief to have that over with.
What about plans after high school? I know you were talking about college in Utah possibly. Are there any colleges that have piqued your interest to this point?
The dream college for me is University of Utah because I just love the Salt Lake area, but I'm more lenient towards BYU.
What would you end up going for?
I would go for either pediatrician, physical therapy, or a PA. I'm undecisive.
Still plenty of time to figure all that stuff out, though. A couple more questions for you, and the first one is, do you want to do a mission? And if you had one choice on that mission, if you end up doing it, where would you want to go? I know it's not up to you necessarily, but where's one place you would want to go?
I am interested in serving a mission. I think it would be awesome to serve somewhere foreign, speaking a different language, but if I did stay on the state side, I'd be happy because I know my mom would spoil me.
Final thing, you've been at Soda Springs High School now for 3 years and a month. What's your favorite thing about being a Soda Springs Cardinal?
I love the support in our community. Everyone is always up for supporting everyone, no matter what it's for.
Ariana, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. You're a standout student for tonight, and good luck to you in the rest of your senior year and everything after that.
Thank you.
That was Ariana Finlayson from the Soda Springs High School. She's our standout student for this week over at the high school, a senior. And again, if you can get out to that fun run that's going to be taking place tomorrow night, it might be a little rainy, it might be a little bit cold, but that just adds to the fun. There's going to be a silent auction, plenty of great stuff, and it all goes to a good cause to help a member in this community. We are going to take another break. The Cardinals getting set to break out onto the football field here. The Malad Dragons coming down to their huddles right below our broadcast booth. 3:08 left to go in halftime. We'll be back after this on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Here's a look at your Lalaton's food specials for the week of October 1st through the 7th. Catch K-Slot Fever. Grab select varieties of canned vegetables, 24 in a case for $12. Canned tuna fish, 48 cans for $28.32, or a case of 12 cans of premium chunk white chicken for just $11.89. Pasta sauces come in cases of 12 for $12, 20 for $20, or 24 for $24. That's a look at your Lalaton's food specials in Soda Springs.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
There's an organization in southeast Idaho whose wildlife conservation efforts have been commended by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Idaho Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and the North American Moose Foundation. Who is this organization? It's Monsanto. While Monsanto is honored by the recognition they receive, their ongoing dedication to the environment is its own reward for all of us. Monsanto. Imagine.
It's almost time for the start of our second half here on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com. Thank you to everybody who's tuning into our game so far, as it has been a great contest for these two teams. And I think if you're the Soda Springs Cardinals, there are a couple things that you wish could have gone a little bit better, but overall, you're in the lead. You have a good consistency going with your run game and your passing game, and you're holding the Malad Dragons, even though they're getting, it's a bend but don't break style of defense you're running.
Yep, we'll look forward to getting some momentum right here, hopefully on this kickoff.
It'll be Devin Adams to kick it off to the Malad Dragons. Malad won the opening tip, or the opening coin toss, I should say, decided to defer to the second half, and it will be them receiving on this 3C Grill in Grace kickoff. Burgers and pizza and barbecue. Don't forget they cater as well. That's the 3C Grill in Grace. Adams is lined up with the ball teed up at the 40-yard line as he looks to send this one off, and the Cardinals in their black and gray jerseys will come streaking down the field. A clean kick at the 25-yard line is going to be picked up and fielded by Dane, and it's going to be Bracken Dane, who is taken down at the 35-yard line, and that is where the Dragons will take over on their first possession here with 11 minutes and 54 seconds to go, just underway in the third. Dragons will look to try and keep some of the success they were able to start gaining on that back half of that last set of drives, and it will be Hayden Dane back out in the Pistols formation once again. One running back behind him. They're going to give the handoff to that back, and being wrapped up quickly after a gain of maybe 2 yards is going to be the big body of James McCausland. And again, maybe actually call it more of a yard on the play for McCausland, his 4th carry, and he's got 9 yards on the day and a fumble.
Good contact on that tackle. A nice shoulder pad pop there by the tackler, and make him think a little bit about carrying that ball up the middle again.
Clock continues to work as the Dragons will line up at the center of the field. Takes the snap. Dane hands this one off in the backfield, and the good burst up the middle. The good block by the fullback is going to free up, I believe, Bracken Dane on the run from his running back position. We'll see who pops up from the bottom of that pile. And it is Dane on the play, so give him 5 yards on the run. He's got 7 carries for 65 yards now coming out of the halftime huddle, and it's 3rd down and 4 to go. 10:53, clock continues to move, and I think this is something that you might see from the Dragons as the rain starts to lighten up here. Another handoff up the gut and stuffed on the play. That time it looked to be James McCausland. Went over to the left side, and the Cardinals met him. 10 different Cardinals break off of that tackle, and it brings up a 4th down and 3.
Matthew Smith stood up that leader blocker and shoved him right back in there, and in the process of shoving him back, bounced off and also made the tackle. That was just an excellent job by the middle linebacker. Good to have him back. That made a big play there.
It's going to force a punt from the Malad Dragons, as back to try and return this one is going to be Tanner Myers. A bad snap, but the kick is going to be up and away. A good kick at that as it rolls up to Myers. Fields it cleanly on the second bounce. Rolls to his right. Is going to try and run forward. Slips off of 2 tackles before being taken down at the 35-yard line. And a good run back for Tanner Myers there. A great job of concentrating to hold on to the ball on the bounce.
Fortunate for Malad that didn't get blocked too. That guy right there. I saw a lot of effort on that play. That was a good job by both the return man and a guy almost getting in the face there, causing that to be a line drive that he did have the opportunity to pick up.
And I think with this game for the Soda Springs Cardinals, they're going to gain some of that momentum. And I think when you start winning again, you start to play a little bit harder when you get that win under your belt. So this could be a huge boost. Adams will again go into the pistol, takes the snap, and is going to hand this one off, but a breakdown on the offensive line. Adams somehow avoids the initial sack and gets away from 3 Dragons before finally being dropped for a 4-yard loss. It's going to be on him, but that was just the offensive line missed the blocker immediately who was in the backfield.
Well, that play should have been audibled when they run an extra guy off the field and then had only 1 guy on 2 of our receivers over here on this side. That play should have been audibled right there. Something we go over a little bit in practice too, that you'd sure like to see that call made, because that receiver or defender was hustling to get over there.
It'll be Adams in that pistol again. 2 wide receivers to each side as Adams looks at the defense, looks over to the near sideline. He's going to flip it out to his short man. That's Myers. He's got the corner, comes around the edge, and comes down towards the first down marker. He's taken down right at the 45, and it should be a first down on a 14-yard gain to Tanner Myers.
I don't know if you saw that outside linebacker, but when he read the pass, he turned to run, and he was responsible for the man coming out in the flats, and he was totally at his back to the play, running backwards. This number 11, he's out of the game now. His coaches apparently saw it too.
And that is Chandler Christensen.
Oh, I didn't want to say his name.
And Adams will bring the Cardinals back up to the line. 8:44 to go at the 45-yard line. New set of downs. Ball's flipped over the middle. Ridge Thompson with room. Falls forward for a 16-yard completion. That quick crossing route. The slant play up the middle. And the Cardinals get another 16 yards on the play.
And that wasn't a hard throw. See, that was a good touch pass. Right thrown when and where it needed to be. You don't have to stick them in there every time at 900 miles an hour. That was an excellent throw.
Second reception for Ridge Thompson moves the ball forward and the chains once again. Has 76 yards passing now for the Cardinals. And again, this offense, you give them a little bit of positive motion, they start to click a little bit better each time. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Cardinals from the near side hash. Adams takes that snap in the pistol, hands this one off to Farms on the draw play, and he is blown up in the middle and can't get away from the Dragons. They'll give him forward progress to the 41 and a generous forward progress at that, of a loss of 2. A tough play there, but a good job of the Malad Dragons. And number 67, that's Hugo Ramos. We've said his name a couple of times here tonight. Not many good ones yet, but that is a great play by Ramos to lose his blocker, and it really was him. I mean, he just powered his blocker off of him and went right at Farnes.
Yeah, that I won't say who I thought had that block, but hey, it's a younger kid that just got completely blown up on that play.
Clock winds to under 7.5 to play here. 2nd down and 12 to go for the Soda Springs Cardinals. Adams takes the snap. Myers goes into motion. Good protection for Adams, but airmails his receiver on the far side, trying to find Stewart. As Andrew Stewart was coming up, he had position. If that pass is down lower, Stewart was right in front of his defender.
You know, that's a perfect example, though. A minute ago, we were talking about a pass that had a little bit taken off that makes it catchable, and that one was that was just a rocket. It never came down out of the atmosphere.
And it cost the Cardinals as well. 3rd down and 12 yards to go. A tough situation, although you are in 4-down territory on this side of the field if you're Soda Springs, particularly if you can gain 6 or 7 yards on this play.
Yes, let's get some.
Adams in that pistol formation once again. 2 wide receivers to each side. Farnes in the backfield with him. He'll take the snap. Adams is going to take it on the quarterback draw. Gets back to the initial line of scrimmage, but is popped on the play. Coming up with that hit is number 50 of the Dragons, Tucker Hess, the outside linebacker, 5'10", 205, a bigger body than Adams is ever going to bring up to the table. And Adams, I think he got introduced in a way that he didn't want to get introduced.
Well, there's got to be an offensive lineman getting out to him on that.
6:50 to go. Cardinals milking a lot of time off the clock on this drive, as it's going to be a snap back to Adams on the punt formation. They're just going to give this one back over to the Dragons. A good punt, though. It takes a Cardinals bounce initially, rolls back to the 11, but nonetheless, Malad is going to be dropped back deep inside their own territory and will look to try and move the ball 89 yards of Soda Springs turf.
Probably a nice call there by the coaching staff to not get greedy, to still play, conservative, but yet make the good football choice there.
And again, you have the lead if you're the Soda Springs Cardinals. You have that ability in order to not have to go for it. And if they had gained maybe another 4 or 5 yards on that 3rd down play, I think you see them go for it.
Make it tempting, huh?
So it'll be the Dragons coming up to the line of scrimmage. 2 wide receivers split out to each side. A bit of confusion, but it's going to be Dane in that pistol formation, pitches it out to the back behind him, and rolling his way forward for an 8-yard gain is going to be that back, and I believe it is Bracken Dane who comes forward, and it is Dane who gets about, as I said, 8 yards on that play. And Dane continuing to have a solid night at running back, 73 yards now on the carry, or carrying yards for Dane on 7 carries.
9 yards.
Or 8 carries, I should say. 6:05 to go, and the Cardinals defense comes out in that 3-5 front. As the snap goes again to Dane, he'll pitch it outside. Cutting back into the middle of the field is Green. He cuts his way forward and slips off several Soda tacklers to the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 16 on the play for Green.
It's Green on the carry for the
And once again, another positive play there, and the Cardinals' lack of tackling there. It seems like they got a little lackadaisical on that play.
Cardinals on that stop.
Cardinals will sub in and out several people.
For the Dragons, however.
As the Dragons will come marching up to the line of scrimmage once again. Looking to catch a little bit of fire here with 5:40 to go. Clock continued to wind. Left to right they move. Ball pitched out. Again, it's going to be Dane on this one. Wrapped up quickly. Coming up with the wrap up there is Devin Adams at the line. He came up on the blitz, stopped his blitz when he saw it was a run, and was able to pull him around and pull him down.
About a yard gain on the play, 2nd and 9.
One of the shorter games of the night for Dane. 74 yards now on the night. And with 5:17, the clock will continue to work its way down. And the clock, the Cardinals' friend, the Dragons' enemy at this point in time. As Dane again goes into the pistol. Hayden takes the snap. He'll hand this one off to the fullback, and dragging along several Cardinals is going to be the big fullback in James McCausland, and he's going to gain about 3 yards on the play.
Gain of about 4 on the play.
Only 12 yards for McCausland on the night, and brings up a 3rd down and 6 yards to go. They need the 45-yard line, do the Dragons, on their own side of the field. Ball set to the near side hash, just about 3 yards towards the middle of the field from there, so they have plenty of field to work with.
Yeah, I'd like to seen that. Somebody was hanging on for dear life. If they'd have got a clean shoulder on him instead of just dragging behind, that would have been a no gain there and made a different situation.
It looked to be Stephen Fryer who was holding on, and a good job by him just doing as much as he could as the snap goes to Hayden Dane. Pressure in his face. Ball's on the ground, and the Cardinals have it. On the near side, it's Jake Morrison jumping onto the ball quickly after Dylan Farnes came up with the sack, and the Cardinals recover it at the 34-yard line, and the offense will take over.
They tried to fool the Cardinals there with that handoff up the middle that we've been seeing over and over and over again, but there was some good position defense there played by the outside edge, and now it's Cardinals ball in. Good position here, ready to score.
And you have to take advantage of this if you're Soda Springs. This is another chance deep inside your opponent's territory late in the 3rd quarter. Another touchdown here could be a huge nail. Stewart lined up to the far side after being part of the plays last time, and they're going to target him. No, they targeted Myers, and it goes off of a defender, off of Myers, off of another defender. There's another one of those rockets, but that one needed to be rocketed if that was going to be in. That window was awful tight.
Soda got away with one there because they, at some point, if that's what they're going to key on, then that throw needs to be deep down the sideline probably.
So it brings up a 2nd down and 10. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Ball still at the 34-yard line of the Malad Dragons. And the Cardinals up 7-0 on your Gate City Real Estate scoreboard here in quarter number 3. Adams brings his troops to the line once again. The Cardinals, 10 yards to go to get that first. It's going to be a quick handoff. No, a fake. Adams pitches out to the far side, and unable to hold it in is Tanner Myers as he drops it out of bounds. That one at least was going to go for 5 yards if Myers holds on to that.
He had some room to run there, and he's so fast. If you get it in his hands, you never know what could happen.
10 for 16 passing now for Soda Springs and the Cardinals. Or excuse me, 9 for 16 passing is only 7 incompletions to the date, or to this point for Adams. And the Cardinals are going to take a timeout. We'll take one as well with them. Back here after this on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Cattlemen have a code of ethics. Live each day with courage. Take pride in your work. Always finish what you start. Do what has to be done. Be tough but fair. When you make a promise, keep it. Ride for the brand. Talk less and say more. Remember that some things aren't for sale, and know where to draw the line. The folks at Mound Valley Cattle Company in Thatcher, Idaho are proud of the students at Grace High School, investing in the leaders of tomorrow. The Mound Valley Cattle Company, 208-339-0614.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here along with Ben Jacobson, who's running the camera as well as doing color for me tonight. And
hopefully it's been good on the camera. I apologize if I missed anything. I get pretty excited about stuff.
Trust me, I've run that camera before many times. It is not the easiest thing to do to keep yourself focused on what's going on, especially when you're trying to talk while you're doing it. 4:06 to go here, 3rd quarter of play. The Cardinals on top of the Malad Dragons. Have been playing with the lead most of the game, 7-0. And the Dragons on the defensive end have a 3rd down and 10 to defend. The Cardinals will come out onto the field. Cardinals working from right to left, but again, deep inside Dragon territory, and maybe a good chance to try and go for it here on 4th down again if you can gain a couple of yards.
It'd help, yeah. opens the playbook up, as they say a lot.
It'll be Adams in that pistol formation. 2 wide receivers to each side. Has one split in at the tight end. Adams comes up under center. They're going to pitch that ball out to Myers. He's going to go to pass. Throws it down the far sideline. It's short, coming up to try and make a play on that one, and unable to pull it in, I believe, is Stewart.
Did they get a hand on that right at the last second?
They might have, and Stewart might have, but Stewart had to go to his knees. It was
He
poorly
did.
underthrown by
Yeah.
Myers, although you're talking
Boy, it
about a
was set up,
35-yard throw, and it was wide open if he could have gotten another 5 yards under that pass. Brings up a 4th down and 10, and another difficult situation here for the Cardinals from the 34-yard line. Do you go for it, or do you try and punt the ball away and pin the Dragons back once again? With under 4 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter, clock stopped at 3:59. It's a tough decision. It looks like the Cardinals might try and go for it.
They probably need their other receiver, though, if they're going to.
And coming out onto the field is a Grant Clegg, it appears, as he is going to be out on the slot receiver on the far side. Snap goes to Adams. He's going to take it. It's going to be a pitch play. Adams has blockers in front of him, rolls forward, reaches ahead, and it's going to be very close to the first down. The near side line judge has him marked at the 25 short.
Short
and
by
that's where
about
they
a
mark
couple
it. So
yards,
about a
isn't it?
yard
Darn it.
short is what they look at. And it was a great play attempt by the Cardinals, but just not enough on the reach there by Adams. A good decision, though, on what he did.
Yes,
As
yes.
if he pitches that, I don't know if they get even as close as they did on that, and he had good blocking in front of him
He
once
read
again.
it very, very well. Yep, I agree.
3:49 to go. Malad takes over at their own 25-yard line with the score 7-0. They trail to the Soda Springs Cardinals in quarter number 3. In that pistol formation is going to be Hayden Dane. He'll take the snap. Good snap. Fakes a pass to his left. Comes back over to his right. Short pass. It's going to be intercepted. Clegg comes up with the pick. He comes up the left sideline. No one in front of him. Cuts back to the middle. Now goes back down as he's taken down at the 10-yard line. An interception for Grant Clegg, though. And it is a huge nail in the coffin of the Malad Dragons. It was completely underthrown. And that was something you talked about at halftime, is that same exact play, Ben, that Hayden Dane had thrown short before. Clegg realized it this time, turned his body around, and there was a easy green field in front of him for what turned out to be, I believe, in the end, about a 40-yard or 30-yard
Interception return. Yeah, and he had some good blocks there at the end. In fact, I noticed one Malad kid was slow getting up. He was hit pretty good there by a blocking Cardinal.
So the Cardinals will get their 3rd turnover of the game. The defense playing very strong tonight. 7-0 they lead, and the offense looking to finish it off. Adams with the ball, takes it out. He's going to look to pitch. No, holds on to the ball, spins back inside, rolls to the 1-yard line after an 8-yard gain. Adams with the play there is going to take it for his 24th yard of the game, a yard short. And I think if you're the Cardinals here, you want to give Adams the chance to finish off this drive, and it might be a good time to call that quarterback sneak.
Another Malad kid trying to get off here slow, and yet Soda's up ready to go on the ball, and the kid tried to suck it up and get back in there, but I think the ref realized it and going to give him a chance to get off the field here.
And that's a good play by the ref. You never want to see injuries. So Rhett Daniels will check back out into the game, as coming off on the near sideline is Ramos, and a tough loss for the Dragons if Ramos comes out. And that actually looks to be maybe Taylor Evans, number 17. Cardinals at the 1-yard line. Adams will walk up under scrimmage. It's going to be that QB sneak. He reaches out over the end zone. No signal yet, and it does not look like he got it. So no gain on that carry as they stop him
inches. Maybe.
I was going to say it looked like his body got in.
He extended that ball. How that didn't cross the line, I don't know.
Either way, it's going to be another chance here. Cardinals will come up under center with Adams, and they'll do it again. Adams trying to find a hole, and that time he punches it in. A 1-yard run by Devin Adams gets the Cardinals the score and their 2nd touchdown of the game. The offense, again, this only does more to help the Cardinals' security with themselves and also abilities when it comes to the confidence in them. So they'll come out and attempt the extra point once again.
It's a nice job up there by Steiner and Brown to get a little bit of a push, just what they needed, and keep some guys off of him.
So Adams will come out to attempt the PAT. 13-0, the Cardinals lead. Trying to make it 14. Kick is up, and it is good. Sneaks over the crossbars, and the Cardinals take a 14-0 lead on top of the Malad Dragons here at Archer Field in Soda Springs, Idaho. We'll take a break, come back with more on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
mylocalradio.com.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals, where right now the Cardinals have been rolling with their offensive production. 14-0, they lead over the Malad Dragons. 2:35 to go on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. And again, for the Soda Springs Cardinals, this is the type of game that I think Coach Cliff Garbett has been waiting for his team to have.
Well, it seems like old momentum's just sitting out there with us a little bit now, playing 12 on 11.
2:35 to go as Adams gets set to kick this one off to the Malad Dragons and runs up and will send a line drive deep down the field. Takes a roll, bounces up into the returner's hands. That's going to be Green coming up the near sideline, cuts back to his left. No one follows him there until he's wrapped up at the 30-yard line and falls forward in a pile of bodies at the 31, and that's where the Malad Dragons are going to take over on this drive. That kickoff brought to you by the 3C Grill and Grace Burgers, Pizza, and Barbecue. And don't forget they cater as well delicious meals over at the 3C Grill in Grace. 2:26 to go, and if you're Malad right now, what do you do if you're the head coach on the sideline?
Well, I think you got to keep it to the run game, don't you? Something that's worked for you a little bit. You've made less mistakes with the run. You can't throw the ball up in the air, in my opinion.
It'll be Dane in that pistol formation, 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side, working from the near side hash mark. Ball goes down on the ground. Dane recovers it, has multiple Cardinals around him, and finally just drops after a loss of 13 yards. In fact, call it 14 yards back to the 18-yard line. And it will be a loss of 13 on the play officially as, again, a broken play, the ball onto the ground and nobody there to really do anything to keep them. And ball security has been huge for the Dragons.
It has. It has cost them this game, no doubt.
If they could have held on to the ball, they have 3 turnovers already. One of those costing them a score. They have, and one of them cost themselves a score possibly deep inside Soda Springs territory. 2nd down and call it 23 yards to go from the 18-yard line. Dane in that pistol, takes the snap, rolls out. No, he's going to hand this one off to his back. That's Green rushing around the far side, has an opening, and is going to be able to get close to the original line of scrimmage up to the 29-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the play. As Green gets up to 27 yards on the day, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 12 yards to go.
Fortunately for the Cardinals, he ran that ball a long time, but a lot of it was east and west instead of north and south, too.
So the Cardinals defense will have to recover from that, but again, they do have 12 yards to work with behind them, so an optimal position for Soda Springs. The Dragons running game has found a way to find holes, though, with 3 wide receivers spread to the near side. Dane takes a snap, looks to pass, throws one out short, and it's too far outside of the reach of his intended receiver, as laying out to try and pull it in was Bracken Dane, his brother, and it ends up dropping harmlessly to the turf with 54.6 seconds to go. 4th down and 12 coming up.
As good as an athlete he is, and he is a very good one, he's throwing a good ball at times, but he's just not mentally as tough as a kid that's played there for 3 years, you know.
And that's going to be the big thing that, again, watch him grow, but this is what you expect from a freshman quarterback. Ball punted away, and it's going to be the Cardinals picking this one up. Myers takes it at the 35-yard line, cuts back to the near side. He's got room until he's wrapped up at the 46-yard line and falling forward. after being taken down on the play by, I believe, Tucker Hess, the big linebacker.
The couple of Malad fans kind of yelled because they thought that was a block in the back there, but actually the Soda blocker did a good job of just putting his hand there and realizing I am on his back. I am not going to put any weight into this and pulling off there.
Brings up 1st down and 10 for the Cardinals from the 43-yard line, the official mark in Malad territory. Again, Soda getting good starting field position as Adams will line up in the shotgun. Calls out the count, takes the snap, gives this one off to Farnes in the backfield, tries to pick his way around on the screen or on the draw play, and is going to be taken out of bounds at the original line of scrimmage into the chains on the near sideline. And Farnes able to go nowhere on that play, but a good job by the defensive front of Malad. They didn't bite on the fake, and they didn't bite on Adams taking the ball, and were able to really mask up front on the line of scrimmage.
And a nice job by Alan Erickson there, high-stepping the guys coming at him, running the chains.
Absolutely.
I didn't know Alan Erickson could jump that high.
He was actually our Where Are They Now interview earlier today in the game, and found out a lot about Alan in that. Did his mission in New York. Did not realize that. Ended up enjoying his time out there. 35.1 seconds to go. Adams in that pistol formation, takes the snap, is going to roll out to his right, and again the offensive line breaks down. And it's a 5-yard loss to Adams. Call it 4 yards officially.
That was going to be a reverse, and Adams did a very wise thing there, seeing that there was penetration on the offensive line. If he'd have tried to hand that off, that ball probably would have been on the grass. So even though that looked like a horrible play, I'm very impressed with the maturity of a senior quarterback to not try and hand that off and to take what he can and do the best he can and take what he got there.
And that play is going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Cardinals up 14-0 on your Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. We'll take a break, come back with more on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
There has never been a better time to convert to natural gas. Even in the summer months, natural gas is worth asking for. Rage Plumbing and Heating in Soda Springs will replace your furnace that caused you problems this winter with a new natural gas furnace, or even install a natural gas water heater to keep your water hot. Plus, Reed's can add a water softener to your home. And if you want to cool things down, Reed's Plumbing and Heating will install an energy-efficient Lennox air conditioner. All at Reed's Plumbing and Heating, 180 South 3rd Street, Soda Springs.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here alongside Ben Jacobson. And right now the Cardinals have really dominated this game offensively and defensively over the Dragons. Although the Dragons' offense at times has looked very good, but they've shot themselves in the foot as soon as they get a little bit of momentum.
Yes, they have. They've struggled with that ball, keeping it in their possession and wrapped up. And that's exactly what you expect with a team with their record. And us, on the other hand, have not a great record, but we're doing a better job of keeping hold of that ball.
12 minutes to go in the game here. Start of the 4th quarter. Adams in that pistol formation with 3rd and 13. He looks to pass. The pocket collapses around him, throws the ball, and it's behind his receiver who loses his footing. Not a bad pass, but Ridge Thompson just lost all of his footing in the loose turf. Ends up dropping down, and it brings up a 4th down and 13 for Soda Springs, as they will look to most likely punt the ball away to Malad in this situation. When you have a 2-point lead, you got to play to try and get the win.
That 2-touchdown lead, it made me relax a lot. I'm a lot less cold up here and shivering a lot less.
Adams set to kick this ball away as he's replaced Matt Smith. in the punting game, and he's going to take this one, runs up, and is going to send a high kick to the far sideline, takes a Soda Springs bounce, rolls inside the 20 to the 15-yard line, and sits gently on that white chalk, and that's where the Cardinals are going to take over after 17 seconds in the fourth quarter, and the Malad Dragons will have 85 yards of turf. And that's the other thing that Soda Springs has done well. When they've given the ball back to Malad, it's always been deep in Malad territory.
Yes, they have. That was a good punt. It looked a little strange, but he waited for the coverage to come a little bit, and that gave his guys a chance to get down there and get on that ball, stop it.
And that was one of those rugby-style kicks, too, where you get a little bit of momentum, and that higher kick also helped kids settle underneath it, and Malad had no chance to return. So the Cardinals defense runs back out once again, and back in at quarterback is going to be Willie. Takes the snap as he looks over to his left, now runs back to his right. The senior throws the ball down the field, almost has it picked off again, diving at the 42-yard line. Looked to be Clegg once again looking for a second interception on the far side, and the second pass of the game for Cal Willie. Again, he did a better job holding on to the ball, and he showed a little bit more maturity there, which you expect from a senior in that pocket, but that cast still has to be bothering him in that pistol.
And it was very good coverage by the Cardinals backfield there, getting all the receivers pretty well blanketed.
Second down and 10, 11 minutes and 37 seconds to go as Willie again will stand 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage with that stacked pistol. Has a trouble with the snap this time, pitches it to one of his backs, running to the near side. It is going to be Dane, the elder Dane, Bracken Dane.
Oh,
the
that was
sophomore,
a big collision there. He's hurt, and there's a Cardinal that's a little shook up there, too.
And Dane's head went back on that one, too. It looked like he caught a knee to the head, and his neck got snapped back. So it's going to be curious to see if he has to come out of this game right now, because he is still down.
Cardinal there, Tanner Myers jumped right up, seems to be okay, but that's a scary-looking injury there from what I saw. Ooh, I hope he's okay. I hate any of these kids getting hurt.
It looked like a little bit of whiplash, as I said, and right now Dane, he's also holding his groin muscle right now, and that looks to be the spot where they're checking, so maybe just got the wind knocked out of him a bit too, and you'd hate to hope for any injury.
But that one's much better than a neck injury.
It's definitely something that's a lot safer in those regards. You'd hate to have him take the ambulance out here, and again, Dane is moving as Bracken sitting at the 25-yard line. It goes as a gain of about 9 yards on the carry, and again, a broken play that he was able to turn into positive yardage. And
Tough young man there. Tough young man, runs hard. Season isn't going for them either the way they want to see it, but he's all in. He's trying every play.
And he's walking off the sideline to the near side. And again, it does look, from a layman's view, it does look like maybe it was just the wind knocked out of him.
He was sandwiched hard there by three tough Cardinal guys getting there and getting a good hit there. Glad to see him at least get off the field.
That's one thing any coach that I've talked to so far said about the Cardinals. Every time they played them, it's always a tough team you're going to be playing when it comes to the physicality of the game. Clock will wind with 11:17 to go. 3rd down and 2 for the Dragons. Willie in that pistol formation. Once again, one back behind him, 3 wide receivers to the right and 1 to the left. And a false start's going to be called as it looked like a late snap on the offense, and that'll move it back 5 yards. The first penalty of the second half for either team, and it goes on the Dragons, and a costly one at that, as that makes it 3rd down and 7.
Well, early on in the game, what happened? They tried that, and Cardinals were caught off sides and undisciplined. This time, they showed the discipline. They remembered that play. They played the smarter ball game there, and it caused Malad to get off beat.
11:03 to go. Clock will continue to wind down. And it will be Willie in that pistol. 2 wide receivers to each side with twins. He'll roll out to his right after the good snap, throws this one out there, and it's going to be a quick pickup, but a hit on the play. A gain of, call it 5 yards back to the original line of scrimmage. I didn't catch who the receiver that caught the pass was.
He's not too anxious to head back to the huddle either.
I'm going to give it
27 maybe there.
I'm going to give it to Hayden Green, who's number 23.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. 23, 27, one of those two.
And again, a short gain on the play brings it up to a 4th down and 3 to go, and the Dragons are going to punt this ball away. At least that is the initial look that they are giving. Good snap back to the punter and a good kick. Line drive is going to give a return, though, to Myers. He's going to cut back to the near sideline and continues to work along east to west before finally turning north-south, drugged down from behind by Cal Willie, who for all the struggles he's had as the quarterback, there have been several times that we've called his name defensively.
Absolutely, yeah. If he had both hands, you could see how limited he is with that padding. It's nothing against him and his athletic ability for sure.
So with 10:02 to go here, fourth quarter of play, the Cardinals take over with 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line of the Dragons, and another good chance here for Soda Springs to run some time off the clock. You're in their territory. You don't have to pass. You have the clock on your side. You have the score on your side. Work the clock is the biggest thing you can do here.
Yep.
It'll be Adams who comes up in that pistol. 2 wide receivers to each side. Same formation as always for Soda Springs. Adams takes the snap, fakes the handoff, has a blocker in front of him, and is going to have a hole quickly close and gets maybe a half yard on the play. We'll give him a full yard, but not what the Cardinals were looking for on that one.
There's a hole there for a while, but they kind of, both him and his lead blocker kind of, I think something else might have been called there, and they didn't know whether it took them a minute to decide what to do.
They were definitely very tentative moving forward on that drive, and it didn't look like they wanted to hit the hole like they have earlier on in this game.
Right, exactly, yeah.
9:26, clock will continue to wind down. Cardinals just happy to let that clock continue to march down. You can take at least 2 minutes off every time you get the ball if you're Soda Springs right now by just running the football, and you're already in territory. Handoff is going to go on the play to Ridge Thompson coming to the near sideline. He's taken down after a gain of 3 yards on his first carry of the game.
Well, that was a tough run by Ridge. If he tries to stretch that out to the sideline, which is what that play is designed to do, he loses yardage there. He realized that the end was upfield a little bit, and he just, there again, gained 3-4 yards by doing a smart move.
Brings up a 3rd down and 7 yards to go. Ball on the near side has Cardinals working at the 31-yard line of the Malad Dragons. Adams takes the snap, gives the handoff, fakes it, goes to Myers on the reverse. Myers has holes up the middle, cuts through the entire defense, and tripped up at the 2. They'll mark him at the 1. It goes as a 30-yard run, though. Myers on his second carry gets his 30 yards, and the Cardinals are literally a shoelace.
Boy, I wish I had the ability to plant a foot and head upfield. He changed direction so fast there. You could have put a metal square there and directed his path right to the end zone. That was an excellent job there.
8:20 to go, and the Cardinals at the 1 yard to go to punch this ball into the end zone as Adams stands in that pistol again. He'll come up under scrimmage, and a false start is going to be called on the Cardinals, as I believe they're going to knock Adams for this one for moving up to the line of scrimmage after yelling Hut.
False start on the Cardinals.
I would guess that's what the call is going to initially be.
Either that or while he was moving and a receiver adjusted or a running back adjusted, something, had 2 men moving. But, yeah, that was a little less perfect by the Cardinals there, to say the least.
Clock will continue to wind as the ball gets set at the 6-yard line. Call it the 6.5. And the Cardinals offense will again come up to the line of scrimmage. Still 1st down, so plenty of downs left to work with if you're Soda Springs, as Adams will be in that pistol. Farnes behind him. Adams takes the snap, looks out to his left, now is going to take it on a QB draw, skips through a few tackles and into the end zone for a 6-yard scamper and score. Adams with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game, and the Cardinals take a 3-point advantage.
That was supposed to believe that option play again, that little toss over the top, but Adams realized that they were biting on that and reading that, and so he just took the ball right up the middle. Got a great block there by Riley Harris, I believe.
Another PAT coming for the Soda Springs Cardinals as they're up 20-0 on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard, and set to kick it is going to be Adams as he lines it up, sends it up, and that is good just to the right side of the left goalpost. PAT is good. Adams 3 for 3 on the night as the Malad Dragons continue to trail in this game. We'll be back right after this on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
They need your help. They're overstocked with Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They'll wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliance. If you will help them make room in their showroom, they'll help you keep money in your bank account while you're enjoying high-quality, comfortable Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They need your help, and you need to save money. Wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliances on Main Street in Soda Springs.
Welcome back out to the home of the Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here alongside Ben Jacobson. And right now, this Cardinals team, no matter what happens right now, the Cardinals are 7 minutes and 42 seconds away from a playoff berth guaranteed to them.
That's how I understand it, yes. 4 slots there.
And I was confirming that earlier this week, and I was talking with the Malad coach, and he said the exact same thing. So the Cardinals, a win here tonight gets them into the postseason this year, and also it gives you confidence, and you could end up working your way into a win against Bear Lake on the road later on this year. 7:42 to go, 21-0 Cardinals lead on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. Squib kick up the middle. It's going to bounce softly and be jumped on by the Dragons at the 35-yard or the 30-yard line, and that's where they'll take over. Heads-up play to jump on that ball by DJ Evans.
Really good kick there, really.
So
and you never, sorry, go ahead.
No.
That kick is covered by
you never want to settle for fourth, just following up what you were saying. You know, it's not like they're settling for fourth spot, but you don't want to go play a first-place team like, anybody from the 6th or, a Declo down there. But the thing is, though, you get to those playoffs, and we know the strength of the 5th District in the past. First and second place finishes last year, so
it'll be a shotgun formation, no backs in the backfield for Cal Willie, who stands with 5 wide receivers spread around him. Snap is good. He's going to take this one, but he's wrapped up down the middle, coming up straight up the gut and wrapping him up.
Willie is brought down on the
73 there. That's
is Stephen Fryer. I thought it was 23 for a moment, but Stephen Fryer knocks down Cal Willie for a 5-yard loss on the play. And again, the defense for the Soda, everybody on Soda Springs right now after these last couple of plays, the scores, everything, this is a new look to this team right now that I've been seeing on this field.
Yes, it's nice to see, isn't it? They're playing with some confidence right now.
Still in that spread formation with nobody in the backfield with Cal Willie, 3 wide receivers to the right side, 2 to the near side. He'll take the snap, drops back, good protection this time, rolls out to his right, flips one back across his body. It's going to be caught, and Bracken Dane is going to be taken down at the 45-yard line after a gain of 20 yards on the pass and catch.
And I believe he was the kid that we were talking about getting hurt, so he's back in the game. It's good to see him tough and, being a tough football player and playing the game like it's meant to be.
So far, 44 passing yards in the game on 3 for 12 passing for the Malad Dragons. Not great numbers, but it is something that they have improved on so far. 6:36 to go as the clock will continue to wind down in this 4th quarter of play. Cardinals on top here, and it'll be, again, that spread formation. 5 wide receivers as it'll be Willie to take the snap, drops back, now steps up into the pocket, throws one to the near side deep. He's got a man and is pulled in at the 32. 23 yards on the completion there as that goes to DJ Evans for his first reception of the game. And now all of a sudden that Malad has gone into this spread formation. The Cardinals defensive backs are struggling.
Well, I saw that developing over here. I hope you believe me on that, but I didn't like the matchup of 21's height against Chris Lloyd. Chris Lloyd plays with tons of heart, but he does lack a little on the upward growth.
6:17 to go. Ball at the 32-yard line. Snap goes again to Willie. Rolls out to the right side. Throws one almost intercepted into the hands of Logan Mumford, the freshman, and he couldn't quite reel it in for the completion, and it goes down as an incompletion. But my goodness, that was a pick 6.
He wants that back, doesn't he? Oh, he's been running so hard for the JV. You'd like to see that happen for him because he really runs on that JV team, feet churning all the time.
And I was going to say that is a freshman to watch as the years continue for the Soda Springs team. Most likely could be starting on the varsity next year as a sophomore. Willie in that pistol again, takes the snap. It's a handoff to his fullback, and driving his way forward is going to be the body of McCausland, rolling off a few tackles and gains 12 yards up to the 20-yard line.
I've definitely seen a few kids rotating in there for Soda, like Logan Mumford.
They're definitely trying to get some of the younger kids into the game. Also trying to avoid getting any injuries right now. Is if you're Soda, you're just now starting to get healthy with some of your players getting back, including Matt Smith, who I've not seen out there much since that first quarter of play, so maybe he was taken out just to avoid getting any more injuries to him.
He's there, I believe, at middle linebacker.
Actually, I believe you're right. I've been missing him, though, and it's a quick run over to the right side. It looks to be Green. Excuse me, that is Dreesen. That goes nowhere on the play. And a flag comes out late, and it looked like there was some talking that happened late in that play, so this one is going to be after whatever play happened. There was no gain on the play, and it goes to 2nd down and 10 without the penalty.
As good as things have been for Soda, I really hope that's not on us, because I'd hate to see that. That's something we gotta play with calm heads.
Officials still talking things over. And again, the flag did come out late, and it is unsportsmanlike conduct against Malad. So I don't know if something was said or whatever the case may be, but either way, it's going to march back 15 yards on the Dragons, and it should be 2nd down and 25, as it was after the initial play was over that it happened.
Yeah, I think they just got tied up, and the Soda kid quickly realized I better get out of this situation, and the Malad kid unfortunately did not. Little more discouraged because of the way this game's going for him.
And it will be 2nd down and 25 to go. Malad is going to come out with 2 wide receivers to each side. Ball is underneath the legs of Willie. He's going to dive back on it at the 50-yard line. They'll actually give him the benefit of the doubt to the 49, but either way, it's a 14-yard loss on the play. And again, the Dragons continuing to march themselves backwards now, right when they had a little bit of momentum going with 5:06 to go. It's tough to watch a team like this. You never want to see things explode like this for a team. You always look for a competitive game regardless of what the case may be. As right now the officials are going to come over to talk things over, and walking out onto the field is the head coach of the Dragons as well, in Kota Cheetah, as he's talking with the head official too. So not sure what they're discussing on the field right now. Clock is stopped at 4:54 to go, and it's going to end up being 3rd down and 39 yards. So about 2 counties to go for Malad.
That time, that definitely had nothing to do with that cast and padding on that hand. That was a poor snap there. There's nothing
straight through his legs
could do on that one. Yeah.
If you're a hockey goalie, you're going to have trouble getting that one through the 5-hole. I mean, that's
yeah, that's exactly where that puck went.
Either way, Cardinals will have a good spot here on the defense. They're still talking things over with Willie on the near sideline as the head coach, Cheetah, talks things over with his senior, sends him back out onto the field. And Cheetah, who looks to have a rip in his pants on the back right pocket, or where the back right pocket would be, comes back out to the huddle.
I'm quite sure that they didn't tell a couple of the parents walking on the Malad sidelines here to kind of watch how they were cheering also there. Definitely a conversation by the head ref here somewhere.
So either way, 3rd down and 39 yards to go. Ball snapped, low snap to Willie, handles it this time. Lloyd comes up the gut with the blitz. It's going to be thrown out to the near side. Picked off, that's Tanner Myers. Coming up with it up the right sideline, hurdles a man and taken out of bounds. Tanner Myers with his first interception returns it to the 47-yard line. They'll mark it at the 50, but it is a huge pickoff for Soda Springs.
Where Soda Springs will take over on Tanner Myers' interception.
The 2nd interception of the game for Soda Springs. The first one of Cal Willie in the game, and the 4th turnover for Soda Springs in this game as they continue to roll forward. 4:32 to go, and now you look to Soda Springs to really milk that clock down. And they could honestly run this game out with the last 4.5 minutes not taking much time.
Yeah, the quarterback here, after he threw that pick, sold his body out to try and make that play, and comes up a little gimpy too.
Cardinals will take over at their side, on their side of the 50-yard line, near side hash, working left to right. And again, with 4.5 minutes left to go here, fourth quarter of play, it'll be Adams who stands at the 45-yard line of Soda Springs. He'll take the snap, hands this ball off. It's going to be Farnes who's going to be tripped up, and a flag comes out late. A holding penalty is going to come out here as well, as Jacob Housley ended up holding on to Ramos on the near sideline, or on the near side of the line.
The freshman there giving a good effort, and that's why he's been moved up to the varsity. He gives 100% effort all the time, and that effort was just a little bit past legal.
Wanted the pancake block, ended up getting the holding penalty. Just sent him to the ground a little bit too early on that one. Either way, the Cardinals will take over at the 36-yard line. It goes as a 14-yard penalty to Soda Springs. I mean, right now you can take it, but not something you like to see as a coach.
No.
So at the 36, they'll take over. First down and 24 yards to go. And Adams will again line up in that pistol formation. Clock winds at 4:14 to go. Waits for the clock to wind a couple more seconds. Takes the snap. It's going to be a quarterback draw. Steps up into the middle of the line. Now rolls out to his left. Has room. Down the sideline. Has two men to beat. And is not going to beat him, but he takes it all the way up to the the 18-yard line.
Big yardage going down deep into Dragon area.
A 48-yard run for Devin Adams.
Well, you notice, too, that the Malad defensive line isn't getting that push that they had so consistently in the first half.
And now with the Cardinals moving the ball like this, all of a sudden another score onto that board looks like it could happen. And for Soda Springs, in the way that the state is ranked and the way that they do all those rankings for seeding, it could be something that plays off into your power ranking standings.
Yeah.
17-yard line.
And it looks good in the scorebook as well, and it looks good to the home fans too.
Well, unfortunately, go ahead with this play.
Adams will be in that pistol once again. Ball at the 18-yard line. Takes the snap. Throws one towards the end zone. It's going to go off the hands of his receiver. And a little bit woozy to get up is going to be Ridge Thompson, but the Cardinals will go back to 2nd down and 10.
I noticed on them rankings, not that they matter to anybody or us, definitely as a coaching staff, because we know the kind of kids we have, but I do believe Soda was ranked way down there, probably last, wasn't it? Last I saw.
It was close. I haven't looked at the bottom of the rankings. I've been focusing a little bit more on Aberdeen and Westside playing tag up there at the top at 1 and 2. But Soda Springs definitely could use some help in those rankings. Ball snapped again to Adams. He's going to throw it to the near side, and it's going to be picked up and scooped. He does get the completion to the 7-yard line. Myers pulls in the pass for 5 yards. Myers gets his 6th reception. He's got 48 yards on the night. 81 total passing yards for Soda.
Well, with that ranking too, we're not that bad. We're playing a very good group of teams who are on the other end of those rankings with Declo and Westside and Aberdeen. So good to see us get a win here.
21-0, 3:08 to go. Clock continues to wind down. Ball is 1st and 7 to go at the goal line. Adams is going to take the quarterback keeper, and he rolls forward and falls just shy of the goal line at the 1-yard line, so give him 6 yards. Adams has 16 carries now for 82 yards, and he's 81 passing yards as well. So he has had a good game for the Cardinals here. And with 2:36 to go, the Cardinals will again look to try and bump the ball in as the clock continues to march its way down. Malad will get one more chance, most likely with the football, as Adams will stand back in that pistol formation looking for his 3rd touchdown of the game if he can push this one in. Farnes stands behind him, also looking for a score. Adams gives this one off to Farnes, is going to rush up the middle, and he stopped short. A good push right as you were talking about Malad's defensive line not getting a big push. That time pushed Farnes back.
They did, yep.
Immediately be met by several Dragons.
So that will allow the clock to continue to wind. That's the thing for Soda, though, is they're not too worried about this. Is you can go for it on 4th down. You can milk this clock down a little bit more. Malad won't take over until about with 1 minute left to go.
Yeah. Yeah, you want this clock to run more than anything, and that's what it's doing right now. I'm sure Malad wants it to run as well.
So 21-0 on the Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. Minute 38 to march forward as it'll be Myers in that backfield for the Cardinals with Adams in behind him. Adams runs up under center. He'll take that snap. They'll do that quarterback keeper, and Adams is going to bounce off of a tackle and then roll into the end zone after a 1-yard run. And Adams comes away with the score, and the Cardinals build their lead to 27-0.
The Malad defensive line walled that off really well, but unfortunately they didn't work along the goal line there and continue to wall it off as Devin Adams was able to go around the left side.
And a good game for Adams. 1 passing touchdown, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 3 PATs so far. Looking to try and make it 4 for 4 on the night in that category. Comes up with a kick that is up and good. And the Adams show continues for Soda Springs. They go up by 4 touchdowns. We'll take a quick break, come back with more on KBRV 800 The Bears coverage of Soda Springs football.
1:24 left.
How'd I do?
He'll get better. Tim can't wait to be a real driver. But for now, he's king of the online track thanks to Silver Star Communications high-speed internet. Reliable, consistent speeds give him the edge against players anywhere, even the other end of the couch.
Whoa. You'll get better.
Visit silverstar.com to learn more.
Welcome back out to the home of the Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here, as well as Ben Jacobson, and the Cardinals with a 28-0 lead. Minute 24 to go in the game. And thank you again for joining us. We'll have our post-game show coming up for you guys. We'll go over final stats from this game, as well as give you updates from Grace and North Gem as what those two teams are doing tonight and what they've been doing throughout the week as the Cardinals get set to kick the ball off once again. Kickoff's brought to you by the 3C Grill in Grace. Burgers, pizza, and barbecue. And don't forget, they cater as well.
A lot of different numbers in here for the Cardinals, a lot of JV kids.
And kicking the ball off is one of those JV kids. Riley Harris, the sophomore, is going to get his chance to send this one deep as he runs up and send one high and to the near side. It's picked up and brought forward to the 42-yard line by the Malad Dragons. And that's where their offense will take over.
Jaron Johnson is the kid that kicked that ball off there, number 50, and he's also in on that tackle.
Thank you for the correction there. The numbers, again, from the lights in high school football don't help in the jerseys for these two teams.
Well, I guarantee you, I know more by their run and their stature sometimes and their play than I do by them numbers. It's hard to keep track of all of them.
Flag on the play. As that's going to march the ball 15 yards, so an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty is going to be called on Soda Springs this time, and that brings Soda's penalty yardage up over 60 yards. Once again, 66 yards in penalties for Soda Springs tonight. If you look at anything that the Cardinals have done so far that you really are disappointed in, you blanked the Malad Dragons, yes, but 66 yards of penalties, you don't want to live with that as a coach.
No, that's too many.
Minute 19 to go. Malad with the ball, 5 wide receivers. Is going to be snapped back to Willie. Takes a snap, rolls out to his right. Room in front of him to run, and he's going to do just that. Takes off down the right sideline, up to the 20-yard line. Tiptoes the sidelines and is pushed out of bounds at the 11-yard line is where they'll mark him out. Willie takes that ball down the sidelines and call it a 42-yard gain.
You saw a little inexperience that subbed in there now, didn't you?
Exactly, right.
The Dragons a first down and 10 deep in Cardinal territory.
Kid here.
As the Cardinals defensively will have 12 yards before giving up the point. Holding on to this shutout, too, if you're the Soda Springs Cardinals, this would be another big win for the defense if they were able to do it, despite having the backups on the field, as it'll be Willie again in that pistol formation. Ball snapped to his feet. He's going to throw this one over the middle, completed and into the end zone. It's a 12-yard completion, and the ball goes into Bracken Dane, who comes up with his second reception of the game. And 32 yards receiving now for Dane, as well as a clean pass and the first touchdown pass of the game for the Malad Dragons.
You and I chatted a little bit about us running up the score there at 28-0, but that's exactly why you do want to punch that in, so you can get some kids out there that can play, and if they do something like this, you still got a 3-touchdown lead.
So the Dragons will look to try and go for 2 here. Bad snap, taken and run around, and into the end zone is the body of Willie as he falls forward.
For the PAT is good.
And the Cardinals' lead is trimmed down to 20, 28-6. We'll take another break, come back with more on KBRV 800, the Bears coverage of Soda Springs football with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here alongside Ben Jacobson, who's doing a great job running the camera for us, as the Cardinals looking to wrap up their first win of the year, their first home win of the year, and they're doing it in essentially, other than a garbage time touchdown scored by Malad, a fairly dominating performance, 28-8 on your Gate City Real Estate scoreboard. The best this team has looked all year. I think a lot of people in the stands, in the coachings, over in the coaching box up here, I think everybody would agree this is the best this Cardinals team has played. They deserve the win tonight, that is for sure. They have not been given this game, especially in rainy conditions. Malad set to kick the ball off as the Dragons will be kicking right to left. Expect a possible onside kick as this one is going to be rolled forward and jumped on. The Cardinals are going, I believe, to recover the football at the 49-yard line of the Dragons.
Chris Lloyd got that for us there.
As again, the little guy jumping forward. And I interviewed Chris Lloyd earlier this week and was talking to Coach Garbett just about Chris Lloyd and what he means to this team. That was one of the things he said is, he's always driving, he's always hustling, and it's going to be a shame to lose him as he is another senior on this team that you don't, one of these seniors on the team that you don't want to have graduate.
Oh, he's always a kid that, is a pleasure to coach, and he's yes, coach this, yes, coach that, and gives you just every ounce of what he's got every play.
It'll be 1st down and 10. Cardinals expect them 2 plays, and this one should be over unless Malad calls a timeout with the score at 28-8. 45 seconds left to go here in the 4th quarter of play, and Adams will come up under center, it looks like, for this play, and maybe just take a couple of knees here to run out the clock. As he goes up under center, takes that knee for the first one. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 10 yards to go. They'll call it 11, but I hate marking off yardage whenever somebody takes a knee, so I usually give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, he'll only lose one more.
in the official stat book, it ends up going as a loss, but you're just like, come on. Give the kid a break. So Adams will line up under center one more time to take this snap. 20 seconds to go on the big clock as he waits for the official, and he takes that knee. That wraps up this game, 28-8. The Soda Springs Cardinals come away with the victory, their first one of the year. We'll take a break, come back, wrap things up with final stats here on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Here's a look at your Lalaton's food specials for the week of October 1st through the 7th. Catch K-Slot Fever. Grab select varieties of canned vegetables, 24 in a case for $12. Canned tuna fish, 48 cans for $28.32, or a case of 12 cans of premium chunk white chicken for just $11.89. Pasta sauces come in cases of 12 for $12, 20 for $20, or 24 for $24. That's a look at your Lalaton's food specials in Soda Springs.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
There's an organization in southeast Idaho whose wildlife conservation efforts have been commended by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Idaho Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and the North American Moose Foundation. Who is this organization? It's Monsanto. While Monsanto is honored by the recognition they receive, their ongoing dedication to the environment is its own reward for all of us. Monsanto. Imagine.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. They come out with a big victory here tonight as they get their first win of the season, and in conference play, they move to 1-1 in District 5. With 4 teams getting out, the Cardinals have essentially guaranteed themselves that first round playoff game. As we'll take a look at the stats quickly here as the Cardinals start out with their scoring procession. Adams opened up the scoring in the second quarter as he passed one to Tanner Myers for 18 yards. The PAT was good. Then Adams in the third quarter would convert a 1-yard run and get the Cardinals up by 2 touchdowns midway through the third. The fourth quarter saw Adams with 2 more touchdown runs, a 6-yard run and a 1-yard run. He had all 4 PATs, so it really was the Devin Adams show tonight as he led the Cardinals to their first victory of the year. He had 83 yards rushing on 17 carries and 3 touchdowns, 19 passing attempts. He went with 9 completions and those for 81 yards and a touchdown there. 1 passing attempt for Tanner Myers. Myers did get a touchdown on that 18-yard reception. Ended up with 48 receiving yards on the night on 6 receptions. 16 yards came to Ridge Thompson and 16 yards as well to Dylan Farnes. And Farnes had 3 yards rushing, 30 yards rushing for Tanner Myers and 3 yards rushing for Ridge Thompson. On the other side for the Malad Dragons, they ended up having a total of 149 rushing yards on 35 carries, 79 passing yards on 5 for 16 with a touchdown as well late in the game on a little screenplay over the middle of the field. It was a good game on the night for Bracken Dane, who ended up rushing 10 times for 83 yards. The next leading rusher ended up being their fullback or part-time halfback, I should say, Hayden Green, who had 6 for 27. 7 rushes for 26 yards went to their quarterback, Cal Willie, who played limited time. Also coming up with some yards, James McCausland went 7 for 24. That really wraps up your game. The passing touchdown was Cal Willie, ended up getting it to Bracken Dane, who had 2 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown in the game. Final score, once again, the Soda Springs Cardinals come away with a victory in this game with the final score wrapping up at 28-8. We'll take a break, come back with our post-game updates from Grace and North Gem on KBRV 800 The Bear.
Cattlemen have a code of ethics. Live each day with courage. Take pride in your work. Always finish what you start. Do what has to be done. Be tough but fair. When you make a promise, keep it. Ride for the brand. Talk less and say more. Remember that some things aren't for sale and know where to draw the line. The folks at Mound Valley Cattle Company in Thatcher, Idaho are proud of the students at Grace High School, investing in the leaders of tomorrow. The Mound Valley Cattle Company, 208-339-0614.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
The rocket launched into the air
and then crashed into the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
MyLocalRadio.com is Southwest Wyoming and Northeast Utah's top website and the best source for local area news, weather, sports, and community events. And that's not all. MyLocalRadio.com features thousands of photographs of Wyoming and Utah high school events, from speech and drama competitions to local events, sports and activities, and much more. Check it out today and see what MyLocalRadio.com has for you.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money.
FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
There has never been a better time to convert to natural gas. Even in the summer months, natural gas is worth asking for. Rage Plumbing and Heating in Soda Springs will replace your furnace that caused you problems this winter with a new natural gas furnace, or even install a natural gas water heater to keep your water hot. Plus, Reed's can add a water softener to your home. And if you want to cool things down, Reed's Plumbing and Heating will install an energy-efficient Lennox air conditioner. All at Reed's Plumbing and Heating, 180 South 3rd Street, Soda Springs.
Whoa.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here. As time for us to take a look at our Grace update, as right now the Grace Grizzlies are taking on Butte County just down the road to us to the southwest or the northwest, and they are taking on a big game there. We were able to sit down and talk with Brandon Sanchez, the head coach of the Grace Grizzlies, earlier this week, and have his opinion on what the Grace Grizzlies need to do right here on KBRV 800 The Bear.
Caleb Burgraff with Coach Brandon Sanchez from the Grace Grizzlies football team. And Coach, you had a bye week last week. What was it like to get the kids a little bit of chance to rest up, and especially during potato harvest? How big was that bye week to happen during that instead of at a different time?
Oh, it's huge to have it during potato harvest, especially that first week. We've kind of lucked out schedule-wise and are able to do that. We try to get some guys healed up from injuries and stuff. Unfortunately, with potato harvest, we tend to get a few guys hurt during that time, and that's kind of what's happened this time around. We actually had a kid get a concussion during potato harvest, which is, a little different. Normally doesn't happen, but he had a sack of potatoes thrown at his head, and so we're trying to heal him up. And so, it's huge to have a bye, just to focus on the team that we've got. So having 2 weeks to prepare for Butte County has been big for us. And so hopefully, we'll be able to take that into this game coming up Friday.
You guys also went into the bye week with a little bit of extra momentum, beating Chalice. That had to be a good feeling after the way last year conference play went for you guys. And was it good to be able to ride that into the bye week instead of having to go into the bye week with a loss?
Oh, absolutely, because, in years past, we've went into the bye week like that, with a loss. It's been a long time since we beat Chalice, and it's been a while since we beat them at home especially. And so, that was a big win for us, for one thing, to get those kids over that and that mental thing about, beating Chalice and Butte County and some of these teams. It's just been so long that the mental aspect of it kind of gets them. But we went up and we played hard and we took it to them. And so, that was big coming into this bye week, having that win and kind of the winning streak that we're on right now.
Caleb Burgraff with Coach Brandon Sanchez. And Coach, now that you look at this week, Butte County coming into town, again, as you were telling your team just now, one of the toughest teams that you guys are going to face all season long. It's just going to be a gritty, and it also doesn't hurt that it's a rivalry game for you guys too, in a little bit of a way for the conference side of things. What is your biggest concern with Butte County?
Butte County is just one of those teams that they're not fancy. They try to just pound the ball at you. We're concerned about just that aspect. They're well disciplined, they're coached well, their coach has been there for quite a while, so they've been in the system for a long time, and they've got some athletes, they've got some speed, they've got some size. And so when it comes to teams that we're facing this year, and we play them twice, which is just one of the things with our conference that most other conferences and teams in Idaho don't see, is we get to play them twice. But jumping on them this first game is going to be huge for us, and it's going to be a battle. It's just because we try to pound the ball at them, they're going to try to pound it at us, and so it's just going to be one of those that the toughest team's going to win this one. So
one of the things that you were talking about there, and this is the last question for you to wrap this one up, is potato harvest and the kids and having to balance that working and practicing and being able to get them rested enough for the game. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you try and keep the kids fresh throughout the week while still having them get those work days in?
It's tough. I'm glad that we live in the area that we do, and these kids are able to, work and do potatoes like that. Actually, it's one of the things I think that benefits our team is the work ethic that they have and being able to put in the hours that they do. But on the other hand, It's tough for them because some of these kids are working till midnight, and then we got to turn around and practice at 6 a.m. every day, and then they work all day long. It wears on you. And so I worry about that piece. I worry about just how tired they're going to be. We're trying to get their employers to give them the day off Friday. Potatoes ought to be wrapping up pretty much by the end of the week anyway, and so we're hoping that they'll take it easy on some of our guys so that we're able to come in and play a good game because, Butte County they're not faced with this type of issue that we have, and so they're going to come in fresh and ready to play, and so we're hoping our guys are able to do the same.
Coach, thank you so much for the time, and good luck to you guys. Hopefully you guys stay safe this week, and hopefully you guys don't avoid the injuries going into the game against Butte.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Coach Brandon Sanchez from the Grace Grizzlies. We also had a chance to talk with Trenton Thompson from the North Gem Cowboys, as they are also having a successful season, and they have a game this week as well against Richfield. We'll talk with them right now as Trenton Thompson joins us on the postgame show.
Caleb Burgraff here with North Gem's linebacker and center, one of the linebackers, I should say, in the center for the team, Trenton Thompson. And Trenton, right now the season for you guys is going very well. You only have the one loss, and that's to Cary. What are your thoughts on the team this year and the way that they've reacted to the season and the new coach?
We're just working as a team. Coach is good. He knows what he's doing. We're just working hard, keeping it going. Just special teams is where it's at.
You guys so far on the season, really other than the Cary game, you really haven't had many games where you seem to have struggled too much, but you've played some fairly tough teams and some teams that have come out and hit you guys hard. What do you think is some of the things you guys have learned in the first few games this year?
Especially in the Cary game, you got to work together and always work hard and push it, and they're a good team.
Looking at some of the kids on the team, who are some of the ones that have impressed you so far this year that have really stepped up their game or that you knew were going to be good this year?
I knew Walker Dave was going to be there. Bridger Jansen. I knew Kate Hatch, Dallin Lloyd. I knew all those guys are going to be up there, and especially the line. I'll give it to the line. We're doing good this year.
How big is it when you have a line that has the type of size that you guys have this year? I mean, when you look at you guys across the board, you can sub kids in and out, and everyone's got a little bit of size to them. Does that help when it comes to just having confidence?
Oh, that's critical. Size is key, and we just have power to run it.
Is there anything that you do in games to try and intimidate opponents using that size to your advantage?
Just big breaks, big huddles, come up with the ball and just stare.
Here with Trenton Thompson, and looking at what's coming up for you guys, you have Rockland coming up this week. When you look at some of the bigger kids or some of the teams that you're going to play in the postseason, your conference is not necessarily the strongest conference out there when it comes to 1A Division II. How do you keep yourselves from getting used to playing opponents that aren't necessarily going to be at the skill level you'll see at the state tournament?
Just push it, keep pushing.
What are some of the things that you've seen from Rockland? Do you know anything about their team that makes it that you know can cause you guys some problems?
They had a lot of size last year and just good hands. They passed it a lot last year.
You guys are home again this week. You're in a stretch of a lot of home games in a row. Does it help when you guys are playing that many games at home in a row?
Yeah, I think it has a big impact, and we just get the home field advantage.
How big are the fans that come out to the games? I mean, you guys play day games, which means it can be harder for some of the farmers and some of the people on the outskirts of the town to get into the games, especially at 4 o'clock. Does it help, and do you get any extra motivation when they do take the time out of their days to come out and support you guys?
Yes, fans are huge, and it just makes a big difference when they come show up and support.
A couple more questions for you, and the first one is a new coach this year in Dana Strong. What have you seen from him this year that has really impressed you, and is there anything he's done to really take this team to another level?
Just confidence. Confidence is all it is.
When you look at how you want to be remembered for this season, what do you want to be remembered for at the end of the season as a team?
A hard-hitting team.
Well, thank you so much again for the time, Trenton, and good luck to you guys this week.
Yep, thanks.
That's Trenton Thompson from the North Gem Cowboys, and that really wraps up our broadcast here tonight from a wet and soggy Archer Field. The Soda Springs Cardinals again coming away with a victory this evening, and it couldn't have come at a better time as the Cardinals guarantee themselves a postseason spot with a win against Malad as 4 teams come out of District 5. This guarantees the Cardinals a finish no lower than 4th in the district. Thank you again for listening into the postgame show. The proceeding has been a sports production and sports broadcast of Old West Media Incorporated and Cook Brothers Broadcasting. No portion of this production can be used or rebroadcast without express written consent of Old West Media Incorporated. Tonight's executive producer is Val Cook. I'd also like to thank our sales team as well as our office manager Kim Miller and general manager Warren Cook. Thanks to all of our sponsors and to you for tuning in as well. Once again, our final score tonight, 28-8. The Soda Springs Cardinals get a big win on their season against the Malad Dragons. For tonight's videographer Ben Ben Jacobson. I want to say thank you to him. I'm Caleb Burgraff saying tune in next time for more Soda Springs football.
Thank you once again for tuning in to this edition of Soda Springs Cardinal Football. Be sure to visit mylocalradio.com and take a look at when the next time the boys of Soda will take the field. Until the next time the red and black take the field, let's go Cardinals! Take a look at when the next time the boys of Soda will take the field. Until the next time the red and black take the field, let's go Cardinals!